At this time, I'll call the Budget Committee meeting to order, and I want to welcome everybody to our second budget workshop for 2026-27 budget. Today, we'll be hearing from the remainder of our departments for their respective budget requests for the upcoming year. The budgets to be presented today are for information only, and as a reminder for our audience, this is a question and answer session for our Budget Committee members only. As I mentioned yesterday, there will be an opportunity for public comment and questions at any of our regular Budget Committee meetings and at our Budget Committee public hearing to be held on June 11th at 5 p.m. Of course, at any time, anyone can ask any questions for any of us by calling us directly about any respective questions they have about any respective department. First to present today is the Blount County Mayor's Office. And at this time, I'll go ahead if you'll put the slide up. This is what falls under the Blount County Mayor's Office. And the best I can figure is all the elected officials had a meeting at some time and to decide what they wanted to be over and did not invite the mayor. And so he ended up getting all these departments under him. And I want to say these are very, very much needed departments that do absolutely amazing work and very, very, very appreciated by the community. But a lot of these departments are very, very emotionally charged departments, and so it can make for some very trying days and for some very long weeks for these people. I want to say that the department heads I have, and I've said this for many years now, I feel like with the department heads I have over these departments right here and the people I have on my staff in my office, that if 10 years ago, if we had took this group and stepped out of government and went into the public sector today, we would be a Fortune 500 company. I have that much faith in what they are capable of doing and what they do every day. And I think that bodes well for Blount County government to have this kind of quality and the top type employee that each and every one of these people are. And I just want to say how proud I am of them and how proud I am of what they do every day. As you can see, we have adult probation, we have the animal center, archives and records, custodial, emergency management, finance and accounting, human resources, IT, maintenance, project management, purchasing, recovery court, and risk management are in there. There again, as I said, that in the mayor's office right now, the only increase we have are just for our benefits and pay for our employees. So there's no increase for any kind of new projects or anything that's going on in the mayor's office, or any increase in travel or any increase in anything like that. So is there another slide there, Ryan? With that being said, does anyone have any questions? Okay, thank you all very much. Now we get into talk here. When I said we have emotionally charged departments, let me just say here, we're going to start with one of the ones that's the most emotionally charged. The Blount County Animal Center, and Chief Ron Crow is the director. Thank you, sir.
All right. Good morning, Mayor, Commissioners. Good morning. So Ron Crow with the Animal Center. So currently we have 11 full-time staff. 9 full-time staff, 2 part-time staff. So this is easy. The nice big button this year right in the middle. So what we do, we provide kennel services, shelter, warmth, daily care for animals, 365 days a year, holidays, everything. We have staff on premises every day. We ensure hands-on care, enrichment, and visual health checks of every animal daily through our vetting department, which is also partially funded through the Friends of Blount County Animal Center. On an average day, we serve over 300. Right now, we're hitting about 500 because our capacity is at max. So about 500 meals a day recently. And then we clean over 200 kennels, and those are cleaned twice a day. So we complete about 10 commercial-sized wash loads of laundry, just keeping the center smelling and looking good and the animals fed and cleaned. So with our partners at the Friends of the Blount County Animal Center, We provide a full-time veterinarian and vet staff, so we have 3 vet techs and 1 veterinarian. The vet started with us, the new one, Dr. Chelsea Ashley, started 2 weeks ago. Haven't had a chance to bring her over here and meet a few people yet, but she's hit the ground running and is up to speed already. So we provide spay and neuter services for the community, medical examinations, vaccinations, health surgeries, etc. So we do provide a community vaccination day, rabies, basic vaccinations twice a year. And that comes out of money that's raised through the Friends. And then as a service to the community, we also provide humane euthanasia when necessary, when funds are tight with the community. So we provide animal control services. We have 2 full-time animal control officers. They take a 1 week on, 1 week off approach to being on call to provide that 365, 24/7 day coverage. It's a large workload for them, but they do maintain and they do a great job at it. Generally, they each respond anywhere from 5 to 10 calls per day, per business day. And that's run through the dispatch center. And they also maintain our required licensing and our chemical capture. And we are the only certified chemical capture agency in East Tennessee currently. We're the only ones that's met that standard and maintain the standard and the licensing for that. So we have been used in other jurisdictions as well, just so you're aware, to go out and help with chemical capture. And then we operate as an open admission animal center for owner surrenders coming into the center, strays coming into the center. As space allows, we'll take owner surrenders. Sometimes we have to put them on a list. We assist them with housing, food, medical, kind of like a home-to-home program where we look at diverting resources and keeping the animal out of the building if possible. So we process about 2,000 animals annually, and then we're open to the public 250 days plus a year. And then our volunteers are the backbone of the center, as you're aware. So every year this number goes up. And right now we have a combined over 22,000 volunteer hours. That's just what's documented at our terminal station. We also have volunteers that schedule transports, do fundraisers, off-site events that don't go through that program. So our number is definitely higher than 22,000 hours donated to the county by volunteers last year. They assist with the enrichment, cleaning, walking, fostering, adoptions, all those things that are definitely needed. So we also provide community engagement through Tennessee Promise. We give a lot of hours to local students, Pellissippi State, the high schools, anybody that's needing those Tennessee Promise, or I can't remember the other name for them, but those hours there, we document them and we send them through the portal for them so they're credited for their community service. And we're proud to do that. We're loving it, and we have a conversion rate of about 40% of those people that come in for those hours end up being long-term volunteers. So we track that through the system as well. And then community support and partnerships. We have a community food bank that we started about a year and a half ago with Amazon and Walmart, Second Harvest, Rural King, and Tractor Supply. So once a month we receive donations from those big 5 there, and those provide enough food for us to have an open food bank to the community once a month. In fact, it's Saturday tomorrow, where people can come in, no questions asked, get food supplies for their animals. And that includes sometimes fencing or housing if we have it available. And then we also maintain high professional standards with all necessary licenses, like I mentioned earlier, as one of the few in the state. And we're actually requested on a regular basis to assist other animal shelters in revamping either their policies or their animal control program. And so right now we're working with Sevier County as far as their animal control officers are concerned. And then we raise funds to support daily vet operations. That's the Friends. They collaborate with our outside resources, nonprofits and programs like Cat Snip. So once a month we have a Cat Snip program where we bring in about 50 cats from the community, spay and neuter at no cost to get them back out. We have seen those numbers drop recently. So we're hoping that it's having a positive effect on the community. Every animal that we're fixing is stopping that generational blow up of cats. Then we'll go here. So adoption reunifications, we adopted out over 1,400 animals last year. We provided spay and neuter free days. Those are once a month, like I said. Managed approximately 6,500 calls into the center lobby. That's through our office manager up front there and one volunteer that handled that amount of calls and walk-ins. We started that food bank, maintained fiscal responsibility. We haven't gone over on our budget. We don't plan on going over on our budget anything like that. We've found ways to make what we have work. There are a few needs, and we'll go over those here in a second. But as far as the current budget, we have no worries that we will be within budget. So training and development, we partner with local trainers, dog trainers, local medical resources for compassion, fatigue, burnout with employees, things like that. Looking at training and development with our employees to provide the best opportunity for them to succeed within the building and provide that quality to the public. So our inventory control is just about done. Prior to my arrival, we weren't sure what was coming in or out of the building. We had rough ideas through purchase orders, things like that. So now we have a full operating inventory control system that we've taken care of in-house. We could tell what we have, what we've used, what the average animal is using within the building. That way we could project more accurately on budgets coming forward, what we're going to need. And then we completed the new roof on the main building, stopping those leaks over the small dog room. That was a project that was completed right after the fiscal year started. And I believe it was $88,000, but that is 100% done, cleaned up, and it has been an absolute blessing. No more leaks in the building. So we maintain our intake diversion program. That's what we were talking about, providing spay, neuter, food, housing, things like that to the public at no cost. So I know Travis is going to talk about the building here. I'll let him go over that once he gets up here. But expand and modernize our facility with the Friends doing their fundraisers right now. They have a large amount of funds there ready to move as far as they're concerned. We're just working on the plans on our end. Property fencing, we have no property fencing as far as keeping animals contained. If they slip away from a walker or anything on the property, then we're chasing them through a neighborhood. We've done a couple of stopgap measures in that, putting up small pens or setting up walkers on the property that don't have a dog at the time, and the dogs generally run to another walker if they do get loose. And then the sensory garden, as soon as we do get everything moving, we have donors that are ready to create that sensory garden for the dogs. And then a little Rainbow Bridge memorial for the community, so if they do have to have their pet euthanized or anything, they have a place to come back and reflect. It's become very popular in the animal center world, and we were wanting to capitalize on that, and that's going to be a self-help and donation-based project, and we already have those funds set aside with the Friends. And then adoption events, we have increased them recently, so now we're operating a bi-weekly adoption event around town. You'll see us at Pet Supply Plus, Real King, Tri-Hop Brewery, Smoky Mountain Harley Davidson, Subs and Such, and at Amazon. So we just rotate those major 6 or 7 places. We rotate those every other week with an adoption event, and we've had great success at those. So here's the request. So we have the 3 requests. So office assistant. Up front, we have Jennifer Lawson. Many of you have met her. She's the office manager. She's responsible for intakes, owner surrenders, strays, phone calls coming into the buildings, meet and greet with potential adopters. She's taking care of our purchase orders, getting orders made to our vendors. It is a lot for that position, and she also runs our volunteer program. So we have upwards of 200 volunteers that are coming in and out of the building through the month, and she's the main point of contact for those. So things sometimes get lost in the mix there. We try to help out. We try to assign a volunteer up front, or I'll personally go up and sit up front with her for a while and try to take some of that load off occasionally. But the request for that office assistant there would be request amount of $41,262. It's for one office assistant. That's a full-time position added to the operations line item for full-time employees. And as you can see there, I don't know if I need to read those over, but you can see them on your screen there. The major areas impact if not funded is increased burnout for office supervisor. So the excessive workload on, and I mentioned Jennifer, it's because she is the front desk in the building there. Continued overtime, we do bring employees in on overtime to help out with the front desk, especially on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Those are our peak days. And then negative impact on animal care. There has been items missed as she's in the process of one owner surrender or something, another dog comes in, paperwork gets crossed up or something, and we don't find it for a day or two, and then that puts a slight delay on the care for the animal getting back into vetting. And then you can see it in the building, higher risk of compassion fatigue. I've been working with the mayor's office and an organization over at UT with Amy's connections to address that compassion fatigue and get somebody in there to talk to staff. So there's the breakdown of the 41,262, and you have that in front of you there as well. Second request is for the part-time kennel assistants. So currently in the back we have the kennel manager and we have 2 kennel techs. So those kennel assistants that are in the back right now and the kennel manager have to provide 7-day-a-week coverage, 2 people on at one time. With the additional 2 part-time positions, these are, and I'm sorry about the request amount there, it's actually 66,000, not 666. So a little less. Look at that, saving money already. No. So with those people in place, that would give us the option of limiting overtime for 1, and it would give us a solid 2 persons in the kennels cleaning, and it would give us 1 floating within the building to float between laundry, kitchen, front lobby area, or grounds maintenance, like taking care of the bins, things like that on the property. Currently right now, vetting staff helps us a lot with that. Cattery staff helps us a lot with that. And then in the morning, I'll take about 2 hours and I'll take care of the lobby while Jennifer takes care of the hallways and vetting. And it would just give us those extra hands so we can actually concentrate on our full-time jobs. And so it'd be for the 2 part-time. Let's see here, and we're limiting time off. We're having to work, and if somebody wants off, we have to bring somebody else in on overtime to cover that shift. So it would eliminate that as well. It has contributed to employee burnout, compassion fatigue, and center and take care capabilities are stressed sometimes. And then there's the breakdown for that 64,770, so 64,770. And then these are smaller adjustments within the actual line items. Dues and memberships, we're requesting a increase of just $60. That covers the updated licensing costs for the veterinary center license on the property and Dr. Ashley's yearly dues and memberships for the Tennessee Department of Health. And that would address it, and it comes out to $750. Vehicle maintenance and repair, currently we have $2,000 in that line item. We're requesting $3,000. An increase of $1,000, and that's just to cover basic oil changes, tires, and miscellaneous. 40 assigned vehicles. We have 4 vehicles at the building, so even just getting a set of tires on all 4 of those vehicles every year is not possible at the current amount. And tires, oil changes, things like that. And they're getting older, so they're starting to have some mechanical problems. And 1 vehicle specifically took about $1,300 of our money this year, leaving $700 for 3 other vehicles to make it through the entire year. And then communications, currently we have 5,000. This is a one-time increase. It would go back down next year. It's for the handheld radios for animal control. Dispatch is updating their system. Our current radios will not work with the new frequencies. So a safety concern for the officers, they're about $2,500 each. We need to buy 2 more handheld radios. That way we can update and get onto those frequencies with dispatch when they make that change. They're estimating early fall for that change, October, November. And that would just be a one-time purchase. And then uniforms, going from that 3,000 mark to 4,000, an increase of $1,000. That's providing staff with the slip-resistant shoes, bite gloves, uniform shirts, rip-resistant pants, and the rain gear so when they're out on the property. Currently, we're able to give them 1 set of shoes a year and 2 t-shirts a year, as well as the ripstop jeans. So we'd like to be able to give them 2 sets of shoes because the chemicals they use do eat the shoes, the material, relatively quick, and we're finding out they last about 4 to 6 months. So it'd be nice to get them another set of slip-resistant shoes for the back kennel because they have, it's called Wissy Wash. They have a heavy chemical on the ground that kills any bacteria or germs or anything like that, and it also eats material away. So we're providing them with the pants and the shoes so they're not damaging their personal clothing on a regular basis. And that is it. I tried to make it through on the 10 minutes there.
Right.
Any questions?
Anyone have any questions for Director Crowe? Sir, go ahead.
Morning, Ron.
Morning.
Quick question for the office assistant. Can you just describe, it's being supplemented by volunteers right now. How many volunteers do you have doing these specific tasks, and how many are usually on site doing these specific tasks?
So currently we have the Friends, Vice President Pam Reagan shows up on Tuesday and Saturdays. Those are our heavy adoption days. So the reason Tuesday's a heavy day, we're closed to the public Sunday and Monday. So anybody that has a stray generally shows up on Tuesday. So Tuesday's a busy day and Saturday's a busy day just because of the weekend. Pam takes care of those days. We have Chris that works adoptions as well, and she takes Wednesdays and Thursdays. So we generally have 1 volunteer And then Friday, we have 2 volunteers that are able to provide time for us. And those are providing about 4-hour blocks each.
Okay. So about how many hours a week between all those people?
Yes.
Oh, I said about how many
Oh,
hours a week?
About how many between them? So Pam is, I can tell you, times 8. I'm going to say roughly 50 or 55 hours between Tom, Chris, Pam. I'm thinking of the individuals and how many hours. It's going to be roughly 50 hours to 55 hours a week. And it's just during the time we're open to the public. So it's Tuesday through Saturday. It wouldn't be on the weekends. And they sit on that end table. You're familiar with the building in there. They sit on that end table and handle calls so Jennifer can handle walk-ins.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have one, please, Mayor. Just a curiosity question, something I want to know. Do any of the things that you buy on a regular basis, dog food, medicines, even go to tires, does any of that, are you eligible to purchase on state contract or cooperative purchasing or anything?
Yes, so we are based on, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, on best pricing with state contracts, cooperative pricing, things like that. As far as the food, we're actually on a contract with Hills Science Diet, and they honor a contract that a organization out of Davidson County has. So we get our food at about a 70% discount, so we get a real heavy discount on our food, tires, things like that. We do have 2 of our vehicles are leased, so we have to go through Enterprise since they're leased vehicles, but the other 2 we do off contract.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any other questions? If you, and I know most of you have, but if you haven't had a chance to go out and look at our animal center, it's it's state of the art. It's if you go across the state of Tennessee, and a lot of the counties, and I know when they want to try to establish an animal control system or an animal center, the first place they come is here to see how we do it, because that's the best practices, and it doesn't just happen. It happens because we have good people there. We've had great support from this commission, and we've had great support from our volunteers. Our volunteers have just been absolutely amazing, and the friends of the Animal Center. I mean, in the course of our budget, how much of that? 50% of our budget out there they pay. Is that about right? Consider if you look at the vet, and they have a full-time vet. We have a full-time vet on staff. I mean, it's pretty amazing what we're able to do with partnerships, and without just totally riding the back of the taxpayers on this, because and like I said before, the animal center is totally emotional. I mean, it's the people that and I'm emotional. I've had animals that I love dearly, and that's just the nature of the business that you're in out there. So you ride the things that y'all have to do, which is not always just balloons and everybody giggling. There's some bad things that have to happen sometimes for some of those animals, and the emotional roller coaster that a lot of our employees have to ride, and that you have to ride, and our volunteers have to ride, can be pretty traumatic sometimes. But every day y'all get up and go to work and do a great job, and I just wanted to say thank you for everything you do. Thank you, Chief.
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
Next up, purchasing. Carrie Barrett will be speaking. Director Carrie Barrett will be speaking on.
Thank you, Mayor. So I met the mayor on the way up, no pressure. He says, 10 minutes. I said, Mayor, I think I can get it done less than that. So we'll see. Not giving away any animals today, but we do have some surplus property that we'll talk about. What we do is serve our customers, and our customers are at the department level, and they identify a need, and then we have vendors out there, and we connect the two. That's the simplistic version of what we do. We carry the process all the way from start to finish. As I mentioned, we identify the need, we go out and find the vendor, and then whenever the product is no longer in use or needed, then it goes out for surplus property. We manage all the contracts for the county. might have to get my glasses, I'm sorry. I covered that. Some accomplishments that we've had in the purchasing department. We do have a team of 6. Currently, I have 4 full-time staff members and 1 part-time, and we are out for hire right now. Some of the accomplishments, specifically the day-to-day, we're going to end up with, for the year, about 5,800 purchase orders that we process and 787 active contracts that we manage. We've tried to improve communication between the departments and purchasing and improve those relationships. And to do that, we've brought in people to train our team, but then train on what they provide. We've had Amazon in, several of our partners, Omni and Opus, which are cooperative ways to purchase, and Pavilion, which is a no-cost platform where the end user can go out and get 3 quotes if it's needed if it's something's over $20,000, and then under $50,000, they can do the 3 quotes. If it's over 50, then we can go for bid unless we can find a cooperative. So that's why that's important. We're also corresponding or sending out information every couple of months to the users, any updates that we have that occurs in purchasing. This is a good news story. With the support of the mayor, we were able to completely revamp our surplus property, because whenever something is at the end of its life, it has to be dealt with. So he allowed us to go into the elected and department head meeting and give a pitch of basically the same way we have safety captains for the county, now we have surplus captains. And in those departments, they identify when they have something that needs to be gotten rid of. And we had a 25-day process, and a lot of movement of the property. What we did was, we have now electronic system. They put in a ticket, and 5 days we advertise it internally. Once that is complete, then we go out and post it on GovDeals for the required amount of 7 days. And that allowed us to really wheel through a bunch of things that were sitting around the courthouse and the Justice Center and the library and the health department to streamline that process. We also help the schools with that. We've freed up 1,100 square feet, and we've been able to give that back to the mayor to use as he sees fit. So that's an accomplishment. And then we've sold $93,000 in property, 54 of it being vehicles through airport auto auctions, and then the remainder was directly through GovDeals. Again, with the support of the mayor and HR, looked at the department and rewrote all the job descriptions and did more of a tiered approach, like buyer 1, buyer 2, buyer 3, and give a trajectory of a glide path for career progression. And we hope to get some retention, get the right people in the right positions, gain some retention. And so far, it's going well. I'll keep you posted. We're out for another hire. We leveraged central purchasing. Sheriff's Department came up with a great idea to manage the fleet, their vehicles for mileage, maintenance, and fuel usage. And we said, hey, well, that's too good to keep to yourself. Do you think we can get the highway on the program? Because they're the second largest fleet in our inventory. And Stephen Cardwell was willing, and so we all sat down around the table, and we were able to get those county vehicles all together and leverage a discount with the vendor. So that's a testimony of how centralized purchasing can work. We've hosted Vendor Day, and we had 80 attendees, and several of you attended that, which we greatly appreciate, and we'll be doing it again in September, and we hope to see you there. We were also able to do a table at at a East Tennessee Purchasing Association meeting, and there was 300 attendees, and we've done our follow-up with the vendors and let them know, you're important to Blount County, you are what helped make us work together to get what we need. And then we've also integrated AMR administrative function into the purchasing department as well. Some goals we have: leverage technology, standardize our processes through the use of technology, and come up with forms and uniformity. Everybody's doing the same thing. And then improve tracking of our contracts. When a contract expires, you may or may not realize it. Sometimes it can go, you can just re-up, or it has to go back out for bid. But to do that, we have to know in enough time to go out for bid. So to have a system that flags it is very important. Training, not just training for our team, but continued training out to the departments for things that could be useful or help us collectively work as a team. Continuing to work with finance to increase the number of vendors on EFT payments, so you're not cutting all the checks and stuffing them every week. And updating our policies and procedures, working with finance, purchasing, work hand in hand. A lot of the things touch the same concepts or processes, and so we're working together to update those. And just continuing to build our relationships within the community. I do not have any additional requests, but I do ask for your continued support as I navigate this position. Thank you for your time. Are there any questions?
Anyone have any questions for Carrie? Go for it.
I think you've done an excellent job
Thank you.
in your first season, and I especially appreciate your looking forward to your goals and accomplishments, and Vendor Day was awesome. You keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'll just echo Sharon's comments. I'm not going to ask you a question because I know that's that's dangerous. But I asked Carrie a question back when she was first interviewed, and she had a very witty retort. So just keep up the good work, Carrie.
Thank you. And I do recall that. I will never forget it as long as I live.
So, thank you very much. I also want to echo, thank you for the job you're doing. You have to realize how important purchasing is in this arena we're in. We are spending taxpayer dollars. The people that trusted us, that elected us, and pay their taxes to this county, that's whose money we're spending. And to have a great to feel that responsibility, and to know that you're doing that every time we make a purchase, we're doing the very best to spend the most effective and smartest way, most conservative way we can spend the taxpayer dollars. I think that's very important, and that's something that you have in your department. It's something your people have, and I think that's very important to this community. That's the culture, and I think it's great, the work ethic that your people have, and what you're doing to with the other departments and the working together. That's something I don't ever want us to lose, is the fact that how we all work together, every department, all the elected officials, how we work together to do so many good things for this county, and how serious we take that responsibility, and how serious your department takes that. I appreciate that. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you.
Next up, information technology. Dr. Justin McClure.
Good morning. How's it going? Thank you for having me. Thank you for your continued support into IT. I really appreciate it. It makes my job a little bit easier. So I'm Justin McClure. I'm the IT director for the county. And I'll go through this super quick. This slide, let's see. These slides looks like last year's slides. So I'll just, I'll go through these, but I'll tell you what's wrong or what's different. So I actually have eight full-time staff now and 1 supplemental staff. It's kind of the same format there where you have 1 director, 1 system administrator, business analyst, application analyst. We've got 3 help desk technicians, and then we have 1 supplemental staff. We also have 1 application analyst. And a lot of people say, well, Justin, you only have 1 person in each position. That's because we're really good at cross-training. So in each position, we have at least 3 others that are in different positions that can handle that. So, my system administrator, there's at least 3 of us that can handle his job if he needs help or if he's out. Same thing with network administration and that sort of thing. So we are a very small staff, really good at cross-training. We take full advantage of automating processes where we can, and I think that's what makes us so efficient in what we do. And I have to give kudos to my staff. My staff always wants to move forward. They're never set on getting comfortable, where they are. So I think that helps the county, improve our technology year after year. So this slide is kind of the same. Some of the numbers are different. So what do? We advise and support all county departments on their technology needs. You've probably heard some of these other departments come yesterday. We've worked closely, especially with elections this year, with them getting not getting the iPads and using more laptops. So not only do we advise, we're also supporting our end users for applications, for their hardware. We manage infrastructure, so that's network and server. Right now we manage 3 fiber networks throughout the county and 2 data centers. So 1 data center is at the courthouse, and the other one is at 911. So we manage security as well, not just cybersecurity anymore. So on the cybersecurity side, we've brought in the schools now. So that number where you see 900 has jumped to security, physical security cameras and access control now as well. So some of the accomplishments, we'll just ignore this slide. I'll just read them off to you. So we've resolved over 1,800 support tickets. Not all of those are, hey, something is broken. A lot of those are, hey, can you help me pull this report? I'm having some trouble with my software. We've implemented a new backup system for data and servers. So I've always kind of gave my team, pats on the back because we've always had a really good backup system. The system we implemented this year just lets us back up more incrementally and gives us a faster recovery time. We've implemented 2 new cybersecurity solutions countywide. One of those is actually using artificial intelligence to help protect us from attacks externally. Again, we're a small shop, so we don't have time to sit here and look at, network logs and server logs. So we automate that process and, get alerts to what we need to take care of. We've also implemented a 5 camera system in this room, which you all have probably seen for public meetings. So now the meetings are streamed on YouTube. As soon as it's done streaming, it's immediately available to rewatch if they want to. So it's just a faster turnaround time for public meetings. And then the last one I have on here is we were actually chosen by Dell Technologies for a case study on how we utilize our data centers for resiliency and redundancy. So that was filmed, I would say, 3 months ago. It should be coming out on Dell's website pretty soon. Some of the goals, I'll just go to this slide. Some of our goals for this year, we're going to complete our migration from Google Workspace to Microsoft 365 for email. Right now, we're probably about 50% done, so we're getting ready to finish up the county side, and then the next year we'll be moving over to the sheriff's office side. We're also going to start, I guess, more heavily research ways that county staff can utilize artificial intelligence in a safe manner. So I'm creating an AI advisory group with members throughout the county just to help set some guidelines, set some best practices for our county and for our county staff on the ways they can safely use AI. We're going to continue our network device refresh, and a lot of our focus this year will be on moving the Blount County schools to the county network. So the first phase of that will be moving their actual network equipment over, and where we will be providing them with internet access instead of a third party. The reasons we're doing this, it cuts down on some of the costs for the county as a whole, and also lets them have the same benefits that we have with a self-healing network and redundant internet paths. After that, well, we're kind of doing network and cybersecurity for them at the same time, and then as soon as that gets done, we're going to move over and start managing their server infrastructure. So basically, you can kind of think of it as, we're not going over to the schools to take over. The way I spoke with Director Ridge, and I'm like, look, I said, we're just here to fill in your gaps. They have their technology manager who's retiring this year, and I'm like, if you don't need to hire somebody at that level, hire somebody for what you need. Hire somebody that can manage your teachers and manage your students and their technology. Let us handle your hard overhead that's kind of more technical than I think they like to handle. So we're going to start doing that. It's going well so far. So, and that's all I have. If anybody has any questions.
Yes, sir.
Justin, I just want to say thank you for all the work you put into making these meetings happen, and in a way that's very transparent. I think these cameras and these new, less obstructive monitors have been a big hit. I've gotten a lot of good feedback from our constituents and from the commissioners, so I just really appreciate that. I know you've got a lot on your plate running IT for the whole county, but just really appreciate that. And Mayor, appreciate your support of this department, because it's come a long way.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Ms. Hannum?
And I join with the direction you're heading. I'm appreciating your goals. Standardization is always mostly a good thing. Have you run into any issues, though, with interface or integration so far in other departments that you're now beginning to bring into the fold?
You mean as far as the schools, or just in any department?
Or the sheriff's department?
No,
Either of those.
So we've handled the sheriff's department and 911 for many years now, and I would say all of our departments are great to work with. It's always very much collaborative environment. When we talk with them, and I kind of approach it as, if you're a department and you tell me what your needs are, we'll help you get to where you want to be. I don't want to be here and tell you where you need to go, because that's your department, and that's up to department heads to figure that part out. But tell us what your end goal is, and we can help you get there. But I would say, yeah, we've had great relationships with all the departments.
I didn't mean relationship-wise. I mean interface, bolt-on systems, coming from one system to another, from one network to another. Are we having any issues with integration that way?
Oh, no, I would say we've not run into anything that we haven't been able to overcome.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it's been pretty. I'll knock on
Sometimes
wood.
it's not
Smooth
seamless.
sailing so far.
Yeah, sometimes it's not seamless, and so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we, and I kind of pride my team, and we make sure we do the backup. We make sure, we're moving, like right now we're in the process of moving access control and video to new servers. So we're doing it in small chunks. Let's start with the small departments first, we'll work out the kinks. And that way, when we start doing the libraries and the circuit courts and the sheriff's office, we'll have pretty much all the kinks worked out, and it'll be smooth sailing at that point. So.
And the transfer from Google to Microsoft, it was for what reason?
So beforehand, when we had Google, Google used to be a lot more expensive, or a lot less expensive than Microsoft 365. So back then, it didn't make sense to move. Now each year each year that passes, Google keep raising its rates. So now they're pretty much equal, to what we're paying versus what we're getting. Moving to 365, we were probably one of the few counties that were not on 365, around the state. So that caused some issues when some of our other departments were trying to collaborate with other departments or even the state. And also, moving to 365 helps us on our side to manage our Microsoft Office licensing more efficiently. So right now, it's kind of, as we're moving, we're getting rid of the old software, which was kind of a toss-up of what somebody would have, because licenses had been bought throughout the years. wasn't really sure how many licenses were bought in the past. So this will actually get us where we're sure we have exactly the number of licenses that we've paid for and that we're using. So, thank you.
Anyone else? Justin, I just want to say, and there's some key things that I think are important that we kind of went over, and that's the relationship we've got with our school system now. I mean, that's been what Justin, working with Director Ridge and with some of the school board and with the IT people there at the schools, what we're going to be able to do is really take that to the next level. I think the technology, the fact that we've got, and there's already some things that we're working with them on that we've said in meetings, and we're going to be able to help them with. It really moves them up in the realm of modernization in the technology field. The fact that we've got all our schools on fiber optics now, I mean, we're all on fiber, that's unheard of, that we are able to do that. What he's been able to do with the remote, where he's put his servers and to help the 911 center, yet help the county. You know, they kind of addressed it yesterday, I think Jimmy did, but we've got a total, if everything quits at the 911 center, they can pick up everything and walk into the basement of this courthouse and set up and not miss a beat. And everything comes with them. The technology comes with them. Everything comes with them, that's unheard of. I mean, that's the kind of stuff big companies, that huge corporations are able to do. It's not something that you normally see in government that has that kind of technology savvy or the ability to do that. And, you know, I talk with mayors across the state and talk with leaders across the state. I don't know of any place that any other government entity that has really emphasized and promoted our infrastructure on IT and the technology and some of the stuff that Justin's been able to do. And I mean, we take some of the stuff we just take for granted because that's just the way we think everybody does it. But we have really moved so far out of the realm of what the norm is into the future in technology, and I think Justin's been a big part of that. We've had great response from all of our departments, our elected officials, and our employees. I mean, it's just amazing how far advanced we are with our IT and our information technologies in comparison in the government world. So thank you for everything you've been able to do. I appreciate that.
Yep. Thank you all for your support again. Thanks.
Sir. Next up, accounting and budgeting. Brian Baldwin will be presenting this with the assistance. Well, he's not having any assistance. He's doing every bit of it. Okay, great.
Thank you, Mayor, Committee. I appreciate the time this morning. I've got a few different things to run through. If you have questions at any time, please feel free to stop me and ask. But the Mayor mentioned emotionally charged departments. Accounting and budgeting is typically not one of those until it is. Where I thought I'd start today, though, is just talking about a little bit what we do on the accounting and budgeting side. I'm not going to read through these slides, but it's all the things with collecting money, paying bills, accounting for it correctly, and then having a staff that really has top-notch customer service. Right? We're working with all the departments, all the offices across the entire county, and then having people on your team that can talk with and work with other people makes this job so much easier, and hopefully for the people we're working with as well. A little bit about the accomplishments over the last year. Carrie had mentioned this a little bit, but really a partnership with purchasing to reduce the number of paper checks we're cutting. Not only does that help with the cost of paying a bill, but it helps with the time and the labor that it takes. So we're really moving toward electronic payments. As an example, in 2024, 95% of all the bills we paid were by check. In 2025, 80% were check. So we went, we're paying 20% of our bills now electronically, and that's a continued thing. You'll see it in the goal sheet that's something we hope to continue to do. You have a copy of the new draft budget book. That's been a big effort over the last several months. And then really integrating analytics into what we do. And then because we do work with every department, it's not just our analytics on the accounting side. It's actually that with other departments and trying to help figure out how we can help make informed decisions using the data. I just want to mention that this department pushes out over 28,000 invoices in a year, $163 million worth of invoices paid out, and a lot of my staff are back here today, and they're the ones who really make it happen. They're doing the heavy lift every day to get 28,000 payments correct, to the right place at the right amount, making sure we're coding it right and making sure we're following our process cash controls. So all the credit goes to them for all the work all the good work that happens on this side. Moving forward into next year, we want to put some extra emphasis on all of our grants and the restricted funds that we have. I know in our individual briefings, we've talked a lot about unrestricted and restricted funds. Restricted funds is something I'd like to get our hands wrapped around better, as well as grants. Grants, they don't seem to be going away. It wasn't just a one-time ARPA thing. While ARPA was a big deal, we still get a lot of different grant opportunities that are coming up. Some of them are stemming out of the opioid funds. So a need for us to get our hands wrapped around grants a little bit differently. The continued electronic payments, more analytics, and then honestly just continued collaborations and providing the customer service that we can. I guess with that, I would ask if there are any questions on the accounting and budgeting side.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I have just one. On your last statement there, or your last enhancement about grants and grant opportunities, are we approaching the point where we need to look at having a grant writer on staff? I hope so.
Typically how this has worked is the programs, you heard from the highway, they have somebody who goes out and finds grants, writes a grant. Juvenile Justice, Judge Foster, she has people that can go out and help find grants. Where we feel like there's a gap is in the partnership along that process to make sure when a grant opportunity comes up, we are all understanding and then bringing to you all what the true cost is of that grant. And then on the back end, how do we track that grant? And so one of the things that we have been working on collectively, we have an open position in our department currently. And so we have gone through the effort to go through everybody's, we sat around a table and brainstormed where do we feel like we need help? Where do we feel like we're doing good? And then when we fill that position, what does that need to be? And so we're working through that process, and this would be one of those things we want to make sure we bake into some of that solution.
Yeah, the follow-through is really important on grants, because if you don't use it for what you said you needed to use it for, then, it puts the county in a bad position.
That's right.
Thank you.
All right. And I'll keep moving on. Just want to give you a quick update on our ARPA projects. As you'll recall, December 31st of 2026, so it's coming up where all of our projects have to be completed, all payments have to be made, and this has to be completely done. So there's a list of 5 projects there: the Eagleton Ballpark, the Louisville Waterline Project, South Blount Utility Waterline Project, the Register of Digitization, and then our procurement consulting. Those projects have all been 100% completed, have either been fully reimbursed or in the process of being fully reimbursed. The Tuckaleechee Utility Waterline Project, if you recall, that's the second line of water to Townsend. It is 98% done. They're doing the final connections along 321 as we speak. So that project is scheduled to end by the end of this fiscal year. Friendsville Waterline and Meter Project, same thing. They're doing some final tie-ins and connections. That will be done by the end of the year, likely sooner. The Knox Chapman Utility Waterline Project is moving along. It's about 80% done. It will also be done by June 30th. So all of the projects from there up will be completely done by our fiscal year and give us 6 months to seek any reimbursements or make any final payments. The Health Department renovation project is coming along. It has an end date of August 31st to be fully completed. And then the digitization project with the county archives and records is about a third done, but that is moving. That has picked up the pace and is now moving very quickly. There won't be any issues in getting either of those projects done in time. So, any ARPA questions? All right, then I'm going to move on to debt service, and I will not belabor this point too much since we talked a little bit about it yesterday, but I do want to just mention a couple of things. Thanks to the leadership of Mayor Mitchell and the efforts of my predecessor, Randy Vineyard, we are in a great shape when it comes to our debt and our debt service. You know, you can look, and we've got this year and 2 more years of pretty healthy principal and interest payments. One of our bonds then goes off. We will have that fully paid off, and it drops to nearly in half. In addition, you'll be recommending a budget that essentially gets us down to $87 million, $87.5 million worth of debt. And so I just wanted to mention that if we do this next step correctly, if we kind of take the right steps along here, we can do one of two things. We can pay off debt even earlier, or we can use our debt service fund to fund things to not have to issue new debt in the future. So if we do this right, we can alleviate the county's obligation unless one of our major building falls down, or some catastrophe. We could be in a spot to not have to issue debt for a really, really long time. So, any questions on debt service? All right.
Mayor, my light is on. May I speak?
Go ahead, yes.
No question, but I am excited, beyond excited. I'm grateful for your leadership. I'm really grateful for your demeanor. It's so very calming. You know, some of us in this horseshoe can be up here, and you have a way of having us to calm right on down, and everything's working out, and I'm proud to be able to work with you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, well, I will move on to county buildings and projects. And this is probably the place for me where we are making the most amount of changes. We have taken these departments and really kind of broken them into a couple of different kind of major efforts, and one is project management and the other is really maintenance. And I think what I wanted to point out, and we're going to talk a whole bunch more about this in a little bit, but I just wanted to talk about the project management. We have a new gentleman on staff. His name is Travis Brooks. He's an architect by trade. He comes to us from Hickory Construction, and he is our project manager. And it's not just project manager for Blount County government. He's also partnering with Director Ridge and Brittany, their CFO, to partner with them to help them on these same things that he's helping the county with. So we now have one concerted effort path forward for things like planning, prioritization, implementation, oversight. So we have a new resource. The only thing I would mention is the PowerPoint is a little past my skill set sometimes, and this is really a continuous cycle, not a straight line. So I couldn't get the circles to all do the right thing, but I just wanted to point out that these are a continuous effort over and over and over. On the maintenance side, we have a maintenance manager. His name is Hunter Jones, and he is working on things like preventative maintenance, repair and upkeep, custodial services. And I'll talk a little bit more about preventative maintenance in a minute here. So really how we do it, I mentioned those two leaders, those supervisors over those groups. And really, it's really about partnerships and collaborations. So it's partnerships inside General County, it's partnerships with Blount County Schools. There's a bunch more circles that could go in this collaboration, but really, the four groups right here that spend a ton of time together: purchasing, finance, maintenance, and projects. So we're all having a voice in that conversation and all working together. I would say that Mayor, I know you like to look at these budgets and see them go down a little bit year over year. This one's a little more complicated because I did take the liberty, and I do have the accounting that I will happily walk through with all of you. But we are looking to shift our priorities in our budget. The expression "put your money where your mouth is." That's what we're trying to do here. So we're trying to move money to the front end, put it more into planning and prioritization, and less on emergency expenditures. So we know we're going to have emergency expenditures. Some of that is still in there, but we're really trying to shift it to the front end to make sure we are in a place that when we're ready to tackle a project, we have everything in place. So your departments, 51,800, 51,900, 55,2220, I have started to shift that money around, and I will show you, and we can undo that if you don't like it. But I'll show you what we were thinking and what we put that money in. We put it into. I guess the best example I can give you is we know that we have a number of projects coming up at this courthouse. We know we have some plumbing needs. We know we have some roof needs. So we actually hired a group to come in and do materials testing for the building, so that we know when we need to go replace the treads on the stairs that we need to either remediate anything or not, right? So it just informs what we're going to do. So it's getting some of those things in place so that we can move quicker. Accomplishments for maintenance. What I suppose I wanted to talk about here was really when you think about the synergy that we're starting to get, that this elevator bullet point is the one I wanted to talk about, because we had an elevator that was down for a while, and our current vendor, or our prior vendor, I should say, was giving us a time estimate of 6 to 9 months. They were giving us an estimate of well over 6 figures to get it up and running and fixed. Now, we know our elevators in this building need to be refreshed and updated. We know that there's some things that need to happen, but the partnership of Hunter and Travis worked with purchasing and myself, and they brought to the table another vendor who happened to be had just removed a generator from the KUB building in Knoxville. And they said, hey, we have a solution for you. We will bring the part down. We'll give it to you at no cost, and we'll just charge you labor. So just having the expertise on the team to be able to pull some of that together, we're still going to have to go invest money in elevators, but we got it up and going without breaking the bank and redoing the whole elevator in a much shorter time period. So it's things like that we're starting to get a little bit excited about. On the project side, I just focus on two things here. Travis, he partnered with myself, Hunter, and some others in the General County to go to all the buildings in the county on the General County side, and then he partnered with the Blount County Schools to do the same thing on their side. And so that has really informed your capital plan. A full. I think this is the first time I feel really good about presenting you a 5-year capital plan, knowing that everything's going to change over 5 years, but we have something to say, here is a 5-year plan. So excited about where we're heading there. Our goals for next year. On the maintenance side, really we have started to tiptoe into preventative maintenance. We would like to speed that effort up. We know that one of those things we need is a maintenance software, for tracking projects and jobs, but also for tracking your assets in the building to make sure we're keeping up with things. That is something this is one of those funding shifts. We just took it from another line, from the emergency expenditures line. We can move it up and fund this new software, and it's not really that expensive. But we're looking to get something in place here for next year. And then just really, how do we leverage our efficiencies between maintenance and custodial staffs? That there are things that come up throughout the day that I think our maintenance team and we have made a hire to help with some of the custodial stuff during the day on the maintenance team. So trying to figure out how those two teams work together and partner will be important for us. And then on the project side, the three things that jumped out to me for this, and they're very high level, but standardization, best practice, and prioritization. That's just going to be our focus. And I'm gonna let Travis, if you don't care, I'm going to ask Travis to come up, and I will let him talk through the capital projects and where we're headed with that.
Thank you, Brian, and welcome. Pleasure to meet you all. So I'm Travis Brooks. So I'm the new county project manager. Like Brian said, I'm not only dealing with county buildings, but also with all the schools. And so I started back in November. And so in the last 4 months, it's really been getting up to speed on needs of the county, needs of the schools, kind of understanding the assets that we have, the buildings, and where those needs are. And so we've kind of really used that information, like Brian said, I've met with department heads, I've met with directors, met with Director Crow, the Animal Center, met with the library director, working with the health department right now on the renovation, been over at the Justice Center. So just kind of going around and meeting with all of the different departments and trying to understand what the needs of the county are going to be, because the buildings of the county are kind of the largest asset that we have. It's also the most expensive asset that we have to maintain. And so, how do we maintain them, but then how do we also improve them and do that responsibly? And so that's really what I've spent a lot of time doing, and then also doing that with the schools. And so you can see that the priorities that we want to focus on are, the building envelopes. That's the part that's going to affect the most. And so we're really trying to be conscious of, how do we take care of these buildings, get them to last, and not have to take a lot of this emergency funds when something breaks or fails and creates a problem. So, we want to look at the roofs, we want to look at the doors and the windows. Those are the outward things that we can affect that can help improve the inside. The building systems themselves, the HVAC and the plumbing are probably the two highest cost when you get into a building to both maintain, but then also to fix. Like Brian said, we've got some major needs in this building that we've been working to address. And so those are our plans. We want to do that not just here, but countywide at all of our buildings. And then Brian touched on a little bit, the standardization. I know, Justin's been working with the IT department on standardization. Well, we want to work on a standardization across the county on our finishes. Right now, for Hunter and his maintenance team, when something breaks or gets damaged and they have to replace it, it's tough trying to go back and find that paint color from 30 years ago or that carpet from 30 years ago to be able to replace that. So we're working with some teams to kind of come up with a little bit more of a standardized look and feel for all the county buildings, create some consistency. So when you walk in, the public walks into a county building, they know they're in a Blount County building. And so we're working on that, try to come up with that. Mayor Mitchell's been really helpful in working with us on that and how that's going to look and feel for everybody. So that's kind of, our big push, but also it's just the general building improvements. You can see, we've got the courthouse, the library, the Justice Center, the Animal Center. Luckily right now we've got to work on the health department to bring that kind of up to our standard and improve that. And so really we want to start looking at these other buildings and our focus is really to start protecting the investment of the county. And the investment is these buildings that we own and operate. And so that's really going to be our primary focus. Like Brian said, the accomplishments, I've been in every county building and every school in the last 4 months. Spent time in each building, walking through with the leaders of the building to kind of look and see and understand and talk to them and get a feel for, what are they experiencing on a day-to-day basis that isn't up to standard? What do we need to improve? And then what are some long-term goals? Not just the immediate needs, but what are some long-term goals that we want to be able to accomplish? And so we've also brought in some outside companies and vendors to help do the same thing. That way, I want to make sure that we're getting a truly vetted information. It's not just one person's opinion here. We're trying to bring some professionals in to also look at some of these things so we can kind of cross-check our information and make sure, are we all on the same page of what the improvements need to be and what are the needs? Because at the end of the day, like Mayor Mitchell stressed, we're spending taxpayer dollars to fix all of these things. So we need to make sure what we're doing is in the best interest of the public, but also the buildings and taxpayers and their funds, and how to be responsible with all of these changes and fixes. And then working closely with Brian on establishing what we feel like is a very good 5-year capital plan to how do we start addressing all of these needs. We know we can't do it all at once. We know that has to be spread out over time. So, how do we prioritize that? And so, one of the first things we did was Brian and I sat down, with the courthouse and did a really in-depth look at this building and the needs of the building, starting to identify not only the pressing, needs, the roof, needs replacing, the plumbing in the building needs to be done. There's areas of this building that don't have a sprinkler system installed. So how do we start doing these things that are necessary, but then also identifying some of these other needs that, need to be done because they've been overlooked for a while. So that's really going to be our focus and my focus especially, moving forward as we continue to grow and work together and we're going to work with the different teams. So, I'm excited for the opportunity. I'm excited to work with you all on how we make this happen. But if anybody has any questions about kind of this role and how we're going to work with this, I'm happy to answer them.
Does anyone have any questions? Well, I appreciate what we're doing and where we're going with this, having a project manager, especially with your background and everything, to be able to oversee all of it. And the fact that we work so well with every elected official that's in all these buildings, but also with the school system, this is a win-win. I mean, any way you look at it is what's good for what is something we could do that would be great for the people of this county, and this right here is one of those things, one of those undertakings and projects we can implement. Having you oversee this, it works out great for not just the county, but for the citizens of this county, because I think it does bring everything. There's so much going on, and there's so many square feet that we're looking at, and a lot of old buildings. A lot of this, I mean, we're sitting in a 1907 building here. There's got to be one point of contact. The fact that we've had multiple, sometimes I think people having, I've got this part, but I don't have this part. You've got that part, I don't have this part. But having you there and having you kind of be the nucleus of making all this happen, I think is really going to be a win-win for this county and for the citizens of this county. I appreciate that. Any other questions? Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
I'm excited. I come from this world and this environment, and so that they've heard from me and heard from me and heard from me. I think that I'm gonna take full credit for this plan because they're sick of hearing from me. But I do have one question, and it relates to Wallen School.
Yes.
Did you, as you made your assessments of buildings, did you find any air quality issues inside the school itself or any of the buildings?
So we actually brought a specialist in to test air quality, and we were pleasantly surprised that we did not have any.
Awesome.
So we do have some things we're going to try to implement in the short term for them, just to improve kind of the day-to-day. But as far as any pressing dire needs that needed to be addressed, luckily we were able to say we did not discover any.
That's wonderful. The overall air quality in that area with fires and all that kind of stuff, there's been a little bit of concern.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Seeing none, thank you very much. Brian, thank you for everything and for the presentation. I mean, we're looking at these ARPA funds and what, the millions of dollars we've been dealing with, but I'm telling you what, the end results are just absolutely amazing, from the ball fields to being able to do the utility projects and some of the other things we've ever been able to do. This time, we've got it scheduled for a break, so let's take a, what do y'all want, a 15-minute break? Y'all with that, okay with that? 15-minute break, thank you.
Still helping. He's been terrific. No, he rotated off just, by bylaws, but at the Heritage Center. Oh, I sound a lot cooler now. Wow. You don't want me to start over, do you? Okay. Thank you all. Y'all missed the best part. So, anyway, thanks for having me here. It is a great time to be quoting Thomas Jefferson. Probably goes without saying, but Jefferson once said, "Every culture has something to teach us." That is a reflection of what we embody at the Heritage Center, and we do a lot of that work thanks to what you provide the Heritage Center, and thanks to what the taxpayers provide the Heritage Center. He's the author of the most important document in American history, and he was wise. He showed wisdom in just about everything he did. And he embodied the heritage of the United States in creating that declaration. The success of the Heritage Center reflects that wisdom and the wisdom of your support. Thank you for being wise enough to help us accomplish what we try to accomplish. It's a perfect example of the value of cultural investment. What we do at the Heritage Center is on your screen, just a quick example of how we connect with people. Jefferson referenced culture, and culture is people. These graphics that you see are representative of events that we hold at the Heritage Center for people. We engage people, we show them how to do things, we show them how things were done. And in their minds, it might show them how things can be done. People engaging culture is people engaging themselves, people engaging their parents, people engaging people they could never come face to face with. We bring that at the Heritage Center every day. Coming up on the 4th of July, we hope to repeat and amplify an event that we did last 4th of July. Included a big old-fashioned American brass band, sing-alongs, salute to the troops, salute to the flag, salute to veterans, salute to America. We're going to put the big pot in the little one this year, and we invite you to be there for it because you helped make it possible. A new event for us this past year, thanks to your support, was Heritage Center Christmas, where people showed up in droves in December in Townsend. I need not say what an achievement that is if you've ever driven the sleepy roads of Townsend in the middle of December. We were thrilled to welcome hundreds and hundreds of people to that event, and it was held over several days. It was a nice reflection of how things are changing, getting back to the way they should be at the Heritage Center. Coming up soon, that graphic also shows Kids Take Over the Museum. That's coming up in May. Again, people encountering people. Kids getting into a situation they might not be fully ready for. That's how you grow. That's how you learn. That's how you encounter your heritage. And that's how those kids will go on, we hope, to create their heritage, create our heritage, create the heritage that all of us older people will leave behind and they will have in their hands. The Fiber Fair that's coming up is all about the way people made their clothing. And people continue to do so today to preserve the heritage of weaving, spinning, and we'll have some of the sheep and llamas there who are generously donating their fur, shorn hair to help make these things possible. These are activities that put young people and older people face to face with those who would preserve the heritage of the traditions of how we make things and how we put them on our bodies, or we show them to others, or we feed others, or we feed ourselves. Children are a key component of the people we serve at the Heritage Center. In fact, right now, if we could all teleport to the Heritage Center, you would find 45 kids, not from Blount County. These kids are from Riverdale Middle School in Germantown, near Memphis. What you're supporting is a beacon for people from across the region. Young people and their teachers want to experience something that's different. certainly different from Memphis, the Heritage Center, Townsend, Blount County, the Smoky Mountains. We're happy to serve and preserve the Heritage Center as a beacon for people who want to enlighten and experience something amazing with young people. I put this map on this slide not because I hoped that you would dig in and look at every single item on that map, but it's to illustrate how many things we have going on at the Heritage Center. Everything from Isaac Anderson's cabin, the founder of Maryville College, all the way to heirloom orchard, heirloom garden. In the orchard, we're growing trees. We're growing the exact species of apples that Thomas Jefferson grew. That's preserving our American heritage. We also, in our museum, have examples of human life in Tuckaleechee Cove from as far back as 17,000 years. Now, I'm not going to say our oldest artifact is that old. Our oldest artifact is only 11,000 years old. It's an arrowhead that a person used to feed their family or to defend their family. Your investment in culture and in the people and the future and the past and the heritage of Blount County is well worth it. I hope you agree. The list on the left just gives a little rundown of some things that we're proud of. 70,000 people come to the Heritage Center. They're not all from Blount County, but if a Blount County high school senior graduates without ever having been to the Heritage Center, then we have not done our job. So we focus a lot of our work on engaging Blount County schools, Maryville schools, Alcoa, et cetera, the school systems to be sure kids can experience this. It's a memory they carry forever, and it brings them back. We also have some business operations that produce revenue that you are also supporting. We run bus tours of Cades Cove. People who may want to pop up in there and see what's so amazing over that ridge outside of Townsend can do so by engaging us, paying us a reasonable fee. We put them in a bus with an experienced tour guide, and they tell the stories. I was just told by my education director that this week we had a group of kids from Knoxville, 77 kids on a field trip. Only 2 of them had been in Cades Cove. That means we've got a job to do, y'all. We're doing it, and thanks to your support, I think we're doing it well. Numbers are kind of boring, but this number is exciting to me. We have a lot of momentum. Our fiscal year is January, December. Look at the number of donors, the number of gifts that we've got in 2024 year to date. 7. In 2025, 24 gifts. In 2026, 42, well, add the one below it, 43 gifts year to date from people who believe in the Heritage Center, giving of their own resources, supporting what we do. That's a lot of momentum. I'm really proud of it. It means that folks who embrace our mission are willing to invest in it, just like you do. Our student field trips and museum attendance both rose double-digit percentages last year over the year before. We're thrilled about that. It's a turnaround. The Heritage Center was on shaky ground before I arrived a year and 3 months ago. So I'm proud to be a part of what can easily be described as a turnaround. And it's not just me. A lot of great people are involved in helping, and that includes the commission. We're grateful to you. We have a lot of new stuff that happened in 2025. This list, sorry for all the words, but I just want you to see what's happening. We have a new museum exhibit. It's the photography of Carlos Campbell, the man who documented in photographs the founding of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. It's a beautiful exhibit. We did it on a dime of a budget, and it's beautiful, and it's our most significant exhibit in 7 years. Holiday lighting, if y'all been to Townsend in December and seen how the place is lit up, we've never lit it up like that before. We like that dark end of town to not be so dark during the holidays. Museum lighting, signage, guideway signage around the property, around the historic village. We're forming a new National Advisory Council. My board of directors is highly motivated about ensuring that our footprint is not just Blount County, but it's this state, it's this region, and it's this country. We're pulling in people who will advocate and link arms with us. 4th of July concert, I mentioned that earlier. It's coming up again on the 4th. I encourage you to attend. Bring your families. And I mentioned the Heritage Center Christmas as well. We're very, very proud. All right, our goals for 26-27. It's time to establish a permanent endowment fund. I think we have the proper momentum, and I think we have people who can devote the resources to help us do that and preserve it for the future, preserve it for when we're all gone, and it can propel itself. We're planning a fantastic civics and pioneer firearms gallery, which will debut on July 4th. We have Old Death, which is Black Bill Walker's rifle, dating back to colonial times. And Bill Walker, the great patron, I guess you might call it, of the Walker sisters family. There's a lot of history there and a lot of potential educating and enlightening people through the craft of firearms and firearms construction. The really sexy part is our sewer system. Really, we hope that will be upgraded. We're hoping, we're fingers crossed about a state appropriation. It's 20 years old, so it's time. And Townsend is septic only. The new music gallery that has been in planning for 5 years, and which has a lot of funding ready to go, it's time to execute. There's enough will and personal capital invested in that we will get that going with the support of Jenny and Randy Boyd. Jenny's a musician, as you may know, and we look forward to highlighting some of her instrument collection, but a whole exhibit that displays the history and heritage of music in this region. There's no question that we have a culture all our own that we want to share. And finally, expanding all our music offerings. I have a background in music, so the amphitheater at the Heritage Center will be bustling with more and more music of all kinds to reach people and to tell stories, not just through artifacts, but in song and in lyrics. Thank you all very much for your support. I will be happy to take questions.
I just want to say I'm excited about your progress, and every time we speak, your enthusiasm is just really evident for the Heritage Center and our history. So thank you for all you're doing, and excited to see what the future holds.
Thank you very much. I want to thank you for inviting me to serve on the Blount 250 committee. I'm happy to be the vice chair of that and the finance chair, and so we're going to continue telling stories, old and new. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for serving on that.
I do have one question, Mayor. Curiosity question. How do you fund your daily operations, but how's it funded?
Of course, we're a nonprofit organization, so about 15% is funded through admissions. People pay a modest fee to come into the Heritage Center. We write grant proposals, so we get grants from foundations and from corporations. That funds about another 20% or so. We get generous support from Blount County. We get support from the Blount Partnership as well. And we have earned revenue from our gift shop and from the bus tours that I mentioned before. So that all adds up to just over $1 million to fund our annual operations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. I appreciate you, and appreciate what you have out there. It's a real gem. I appreciate if you've never been there, and I know it's amazing to me how many people I talk to that never have taken the time just to walk that. I mean, it takes you right back into the early 1800s of the culture of where we live, So it's an amazing gem that we have in this county. I really wish that I know you've done a great job getting things rolling towards people being there and trying to get the schools there. It really, you're right. There should be no kid that in any county in Blount County or any county surrounding Blount County graduate high school that has not went through that village out there and spent some time to see what your history, what our history is, and there's no place that shows it any better than that. So thank you, Frank. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Mayor Mitchell. Thank you all very much.
Next up, records and archives.
Good morning. put this in the middle because we're going to tag team this.
All right.
We will try to have as much energy as Sir Frank there. That is a hard act to follow. For those of you who may not know, I think everybody does, but Mayor Mitchell, instead of replacing our General Services Director, he dispersed those departments that reported under that umbrella to 3 of his department heads. You've already heard Brian talk about maintenance custodial on some of those projects. You'll hear from HR Director Jacqueline Johnson in a little while, who took on risk management. And then Joni and I are tag teaming records management and archives. So I think you know what they do, or what we do. It's been a department of the mayor as long as the mayor has been the mayor, and I've worked there. So it was not a hard lift to help out and help manage this department. Joni's been there for a little over a year. And has really elevated what this department does, the integrity of the record keeping, the projects that we're going to talk about a little bit today were really already in place when I came on board for this. But as you know, the records management and archives department, it serves the public, it serves all of our Blount County government offices. Probably one of the quietest back scene departments that we have, but might be one of our most crucial, because the record keeping that is done there, it has very critical state laws that we have to follow, permanent and temporary, and so I can promise you there's no one watching that and guarding that better than Joni Surratt right here. It is a great genealogy and history, so build a little bit on what Frank talked about, right? But our records are our history of Blount County government. As I take school tour groups around this building, built in 1907, history takes a deeper meaning for me and what I do. It's an honor to work in a building built in 1907, and it reminds me that the decision we make today impacts people in 100 years from now. So it's not light on us that this is an important department for us. Also, let me remind you that our records department manages all of those open records requests that come through from general public, other departments, other governments, other things. So Joni is our records request manager, and those numbers have doubled in the last year. So managing those records requests definitely has increased. We attribute a lot of that to the real ID requirements, and so ladies especially have to prove, marriage license, things like that. So there's a lot of folks trying to get the real ID finally and things. So that's definitely increased some of those records requests. But in addition to the records keeping, all of those open records requests come through this department as well. Want to talk a little bit about some accomplishments. Again, those projects that were already in place before I got there. Mobile shelving unit addition, that was planned and in progress, but those arrived in February. And so the reallocation of existing shelves, adding these new amazing mobile units that any of us can, turn the crank and move. It is added over 3,500 spaces, and that's give or take. Joni has found spaces for most of the existing stationary units that were just one-sided, and then what couldn't be used or not usable really anymore for our purposes, they got surplused or reallocated to another department for their use. I want to thank IT real quick. We didn't have any way to monitor the warehouse unless we were in it. And so one of the first things that I tried to do was just to get some eyeballs in that in the warehouse, and we utilized cameras that they had updated, and so they're older cameras, but they're perfect and they work well. We'll upgrade those as time and budget allows, but that's not something that we need to do right away. So it's been really helped Joni out, especially during that mobile shelving unit addition, because there were contractors in and out, and we wanted to have eyeballs on the things that were happening back there. So that was really appreciated of IT for helping us with that. Joni?
Yes, so hello, thank you for having me today. I'm excited to talk about this department. So this was our existing shelving in one of the back areas that we call the receiving room. And so anyway, one of the biggest things when I came on was they did not have any space. All these county offices was wanting to bring their stuff to us, and they kept being turned away because there was literally no space. So I assessed the warehouse of what could we do to make some space? So these two areas, you just saw another area, but these right here are in the main room, and they would, you can see, only would carry about 60 per row. Some you might get a couple more boxes, but anyway, we had this tore out, and then on the other slide, where there was that one, yes, there would only be 126 box spaces on each one of those rows, and we were losing about 6 or 8 inches on each side. And so I was like, we can do better than this, and we can get mobile units, and that way we can glide them across the way and get more space. So we turned this into, these shelvings. So we were able to gain 3,500, over 3,500 box spaces, in addition to even where we tore out, so we were able to put things all out throughout the warehouse, in addition to this. So we were able to really reutilize a lot of things that were taken out. It just looks so much cleaner. I appreciate the commission helping to fund this, and it has been remarkable. So as of next week, I'm going to start accepting from those offices that are just needing, they're landlocked and they need space, so they can start bringing their boxes over. Would love for you guys to come and see it. It's something to see. It's a big difference in what we had. Another huge project as I came on we wanted to deal with was, we have some ARPA funds, and Kathy Darnell has been amazing to work with on this project. We got some money through ARPA to do digitization. So a lot of our records, we have records from 1795 up. So we were able to, we're going to be able to scan approximately 1,000 boxes of materials, and plus about 319 tax rolls. Which if you've ever seen the tax rolls over there, they're, I mean, this wide, this long, very cumbersome. So anyways, the purpose of this grant was to ease access to the public. So by easing access to the public, we're able to, instead of going and handling those documents, so we can preserve them better, so we're not touching them as much, they will be digitized. And also, if there was a natural disaster, flood, fire, or anything like that, we would have those preserved. All the records that we are having digitized are permanent records, so even though they're digitized, we still have to hold on to them. But it protects the integrity of those documents, and also is the ease of access for those. We did not have to pay for any of this digitization. We did we got a company contracted with us called Stat Solutions. They're located out of Lebanon, Tennessee. And they've already completed our marriages, which there were 34 boxes of the marriages, and those were from 1795 to 1949. And so all of those are digitized. That project is complete on that part. And then there were also some marriage records from 2016 to 21 as well. Other things going out are court records, tax rolls, divorces, clerk and master records. And those are very helpful too, because with the Real ID, as Amy said, the influx of requests for those are huge, because especially the female requesters that need to show their name changes all throughout the process to get that Real ID. So we would normally have to go and pull those divorces and get those certified for them. Now we'll be able to access those once those are complete easier and more efficiently, and be able to get those records to those individuals quickly. Let's see. We have some, so that's our goal. We will have this project done by September 30th. I think we're about 33% completed right now. Stat came yesterday and picked up 30 tax rolls, 30 more court records, and another almost 100 records for clerk and master. So anyways, they've been a great company to work with. Every time we have requested a document that they have that's on their site, they've given it to us within 45 minutes to an hour, which is incredible. So they've given us a digitized copy like that, and it's been amazing. But there was a lot of work that went into that before any box left our facility. Sandra and I give huge kudos to her as well, because it's just her and I. And we went through every single box, and that's almost 1,000 boxes, and indexed every single thing that were in those boxes as far as folders, shucks, or whatever, before they left our premises. So when we do need something that's already at stat, we're able to tell them it's in box number 1, and here it is, the title. And so that's what has made it seamless as well. So a lot of work has been put into it, but we're very, very thankful, for the shelving that was, granted to us, and the ARPA funds for the digitization. So lots of great things coming. Another goal that we would like to do is implement a barcoding system for better inventory tracking. Obviously, inventory is a huge project because there has been so much movement within the warehouse, because we've had to move so many boxes from the existing shelving to move all across the warehouse. If you came in there, Sandra and I could tell you exactly where something is, but we would like to have like a barcoding system where we can track it better. And we also have, like Circuit Court comes over every week to pick up records, and it would be nice to barcode those in and out. We have a great system right now, but it's just not as efficient. So, but that's a goal in the future. We've got lots on our plate right now with digitization and the shelving. So,
Joan, you already mentioned expanded space. We've just moving these shelves around and reallocating in this new mobile shelving unit. We hope immediately, starting next month, that our other offices and office holders who've had records stored in corners and closets and offices and such, we're going to alleviate that space very, very soon. So Joni and Sandra have worked hard. I thought records was our easiest department, but let me tell you, I mean, I thought we were, right, Mayor? I mean, there's Secretary of State's come over, other counties have come over to see how we're doing records. Well, it's been elevated, guys. So I commend Joni and Sandra for just really taking on this digitization project. We've done a lot of them at one time in the midst of their day-to-day. So it's really making improvements for our archives department. So thank you all. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions? Any questions? And I know most of around the horseshoe here know what we're dealing with here, but those records are, there are some things in there that are irreplaceable. There are things in there that are so much a part of, going back to what we talked about the Heritage Center, so much a part of what the history of this county is. That entire area is a climate controlled. It has to maintain a certain humidity, certain temperature, certain, all those things have to be maintained to maintain those records. But it is amazing to go over there and go back into the 1700s and read the minutes of the county commission meetings they're handwritten in some of the most beautiful handwriting you've ever seen. And it's if you've never had a chance to do that, you ought to have an opportunity to go over there and see some of the records. There's records over there with signatures with Sam Houston, beautiful signature. You don't think of an old, pioneer, kind of a warrior, but had one of the most beautiful handwritings. I mean, just to be able to stand there and see those kind of things in your life is just something that is pretty special. And going back to what those records and archives are, that's our history. That's our history. That's everything from 1795 when we became a county to today. Everything is on record over there. So that's got to be, if there's things that are important, and there's things that are really, really important, and that is really, really important. And Joni, thank you for what you've done over there and how you've turned that around and really taken it to the next level. And thank you, thank you for helping Amy. I appreciate you.
She's been amazing to work with. So anyway,
Thank you all.
again,
Thank both of you, because it's pretty special what we have over there in archives. It really is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, probation.
Good morning.
Mark
Good morning.
Shelton will be leading us in this book.
All right. Thank you very much. And before I get started, I was going to acknowledge my assistant, Thomas, and our everything, Vicki Gray. She makes everything work in the building for us.
Have her stand up, please.
Vicki.
Vicki,
She just finished, I believe, 10 years.
Yeah, everyone knows Vicky. Oh, yeah. She makes things happen.
She's actually ran it for all these years, hadn't she, Joni? That's exactly right. She's just quietly goes about keeping everybody else in line, doesn't she? Yeah.
All right.
All right, I'm sorry.
Oh, no,
I didn't mean to get
we
you
could
off
talk for
track
her for
there.
a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's fantastic. Well, at probation, some of the things that we do, we're responsible for the supervision of persons who've been pled on misdemeanor charges and been ordered to supervise probation through the judges. We also supervise persons who are on pretrial release, which means they have not taken a plea and could be felony charges. And they are ordered to see us, depending on the judge's order, either monthly, weekly, or some come see us daily, depending on what their charge is and how that goes. We have about 65 to 80 people per day walk through those doors pending, and each of the probation officers have about 130 to 140 that are regular persons coming through the door they see each month. So we're quite busy. We currently have about 800 active reporters. We've closed about 900 cases this year already, and it's never a dull moment over there, I can tell you that. We also offer a 24-week batterers program. It's called a BIP. I go to a one-day conference with one of the other probation officers or two each year, and I can promise you without question, when we go in there, the first thing they say is Blount County's in the house, because the way that we're recognized from the way the program is run here. We were just recertified last year. It's a 2-year certification that comes up. We also manage the community service program that comes through the judge's orders. Like I said, they are ordered daily, weekly, and monthly. We also contract their GPS, drug monitors, and alcohol monitors through a company called ProntoTrack. And that has increased greatly due to the new law that went through last July, that all domestic charges, for the most part, have to have a GPS unit put on the individual. So our numbers have increased quite extensively from that. Some accomplishments, we're very proud, and I worked with Brian, and he was absolutely fantastic, and Tyler and all, to get a credit card company and payments to be able to be made through a credit card company. Prior to that, it was just a money order or cashier's check that we would accept. We have no cash on hand whatsoever, and never will. But the credit card company, at first we were a little curious, but the feedback has been so positive because persons don't have to go and get that money order or cashier's check. It also has helped our revenues in a sense because it's much more economical and convenient for them to pay the fees that they have to pay on probation. We reconfigured the building for an unfortunate situation that happened about be 2 years in November. We instilled some security measures. At that time, Don and Denny were absolutely fantastic to work for, helped us with all of that and got that done. And as I said, we were recertified through the probation batterers intervention program. Some of the goals that we would like to do is to continue to be productive in what we do with the persons that come through there. Some do not leave our doors the way they came in, and that's only due to their inability to follow the rules. We're firm and fair, but we also hold them accountable for what they do. And then some might take that, as a negative, but on the positive side of that, I wish we could have a camera to show you the peoples that come back that have nothing to do with probation any longer and simply want to shake someone's hand, give them a hug, say, hey, look at me now. You've saved our life. They literally have come in there. They also come in and show us their children. They show us how they've done. And not to brag on everyone here, but I can tell you too that I've been involved too. You can be in Kroger and they come up to you and they say, hey, I want you to meet my PO. And we're very cautious because we don't know what the other persons know about that individual. And they just come up and hug you and say, hey, I want you to see my child. So yes, we hold them accountable, but we also see some extremely positive measures coming out of probation. One of the other things, like I said, I get calls relatively often from other probation departments in the state that ask how our program is run so well. And I attribute that to the judges, mayor's office, the clerks, the secretaries. If the communication is unbelievable and smooth in the trust and cooperation that happens with that program. And again, we're going to continue in the Batters Intervention Program. And I just want to tell you, the rewards that come out of there, yes, there are some difficult situations and some ugly people. That's just life. That's how the world is. But I can promise you that the probation office here, you should be very proud of that, and we appreciate the trust and responsibility you give us. You have any questions?
Any questions for Mark? Mark, thank you very much for everything you all do, your department does out there. And it is rewarding because you do turn a lot of lives around. And that's, I think that building between you and Recovery Court, there's a lot of people that were probably, if they hadn't walked through those doors, would not have a life. So, and I think you save a lot of lives, you save a lot of families, and actually you put people back into society and make them citizens and moms and dads and kids and children and turn their lives around. And I appreciate everything each and every one of your people do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you much. Yes, sir. Next up, civil defense, or is what we call emergency management.
Chief, board members, thank y'all so much for letting me be here today. So emergency management, what do we do? Our main goal is to put our first responders and our community at large in a position to win. We call it win the day every day. We're kind of idealistic about that, but that's what we try to do. We have a variety of programs in the last 10 years. Stephen and I, we've really increased our footprint for what we try to do and how we serve our first responders and our community at large. Basically, you know, we work with law enforcement, fire and rescue for planning. We basically assist in managing grants and hazard mitigation initiatives. We manage the emergency public and first responder notification system, which is the IPAWS, the Integrated Public Alert Warning System, and the Ready Out digital communication system that we use for our first responders. We also recruit for the Blount County Strong Long-Term Disaster Recovery Team and Board. That's something that we're really excited about. We'll talk more about that here in just a few minutes. But we also have other teams like the Warming Center team, which is basically a group of about 75 different volunteers from about, I'd say 12 to 15 different churches and nonprofits that come together each year between December 1 and March 1, whenever it gets below 25 degrees. They come in and they work at the host church is First Baptist Maryville, and they basically manage the volunteers, and then they take care of the people that come in, and so it's really cool to see what they do there. And then we also have our damage assessment team, which is about 55 folks. We had 7 new members come on the team this year, and the damage assessment team goes in, and after we have a disaster, they come in and do a percentage-based damage assessment of the homes and businesses so they can get assistance from FEMA and from Small Business Administration. Most notably, we did all of the damage assessment for the Sevier County wildfires back in 2016. We did all of the damage assessment in the Sevier County wildfires in 2022, March of 2022 in Weirs Valley, the Hatcher Mountain Fire. And we've also been as far north as Kentucky. We also went to Campbell County after their flooding. So we've done a whole lot. That's a team that I'm very proud of. It's helped a lot of people. The first thing that we did was, like I said, the 2016 wildfires. The work they did, the results of it landed on the desk of the President of the United States of America, and they were able to get a damage assessment. They were able to get assistance, federal assistance from FEMA because of that. So we were really proud of that. As far as our accomplishments and goals, so this past year, we continue to build our long-term disaster recovery team. We've got Rick Shepard is going to be the board chair. Travis Gardner is the vice chair. Pete Carter is also helping us recruit members of this team and this board. And basically, what it is, we're preparing for the very worst day our county could have. If you recall back when Helene hit Cocke County and Northeast Tennessee, it was supposed to hit East Tennessee, and somewhere between Atlanta and Chattanooga, it veered hard right to the east about 300 miles and went up the east side of the Smokies. But it was headed straight for us. And if it hit us, we would have the damage that Cott County had. And so, again, our damage assessment team went up there for 2 days, actually for 4 days total, and did damage assessment. And the devastation was incredible. Homes were completely wiped away, completely gone. And so that's why it's important to have the damage assessment team, and also why I think it's so important for us to build out the long-term disaster recovery team, because we want to be in a situation where we're prepared, again, for our very worst day. Some of the other things, accomplishments for 25, 26, we've taken 3 years of Homeland Security grants, and we built out a backup 911 center that's right below where you're sitting right now. It's underneath veterans. And so we're really proud of that. And we're also working, as far as next year, we want to build out our backup EOC, Emergency Operations Center, down there. So it looks like something out of Mission Impossible. It really does. And we're really proud of it. So if something happens at, like the 2015 train derailment, we really should have evacuated the 911 center, but we couldn't because we didn't have a backup 911 center. So now we do. So we're really excited about that for sure. We want to continue also to train more folks for our damage assessment team, continue working with the Warman Center Initiative. John 316 Outreach Ministries, that's Phil Hoffman, he leads that. We're really proud of working with them for what they're doing to help out the homeless in the community. As far as grants, we continue to get our Emergency Management Performance Grant, which is around $54,000. Our Hazardous Materials Emergency Preparedness Grant, it's usually between $6,000 and $16,000. And then our State Homeland Security Program, we usually get around $48,000 for that. Sometimes these grants fluctuate. They get cut and then they get increases. So it's a matter of managing what we can when we get it. And then, of course, as far as we have SpaceX technology, and we pay for a subscription for that, and that gives us satellite-provided internet access. So if we have to go out, say in Happy Valley or some other part of the county, so the national park that doesn't have any kind of coverage, we've got it right there. And then as far, again, we're going to continue to work with our hazard mitigation grant partners. We're very excited that it took us 6 years, but we were able to get executed contract for a hazard mitigation grant for Alcoa City to buy 2 large-scale generators for their water plant. It's a $903,000 grant, and we just got the contract about 2 weeks ago. So they're busy working on that, and that should be done in the next 6 months. We also have a $120,000 grant contract that we're trying to get an extension for the Highway Department for Caldwell Road out off Singleton Station. That community floods every time it rains hard. It's near the UT Experimental Farm, and every time it rains hard, that neighborhood of about 6-8 houses floods. And so we want to try and get help for them to get that taken care of to where that doesn't happen. And we just basically move that water, that flood water, to the Little River. As far as goals, we want to continue to work with our long-term disaster recovery team and board and build that out. We want to continue to recruit for our emergency food distribution team that works with Blount County Community Action Agency. We actually have just completed our local emergency planning committee hazmat drill. We did the tabletop on the 12th, and we did the full scale yesterday at Newell Rubbermaid. It went really, really well. We had probably about 75 people there, and we also worked with the folks at Newell. And so that was probably one of the better drills that we've ever had. And then we have one pending hazard mitigation grant application out for around $300,000 for 3 trailer-mounted generators, 250 kilowatt trailer-mounted generators that we would keep and manage. And whenever there would be a situation where one of our critical infrastructures goes down and doesn't have power, we can pull that in and have that up and going within an hour or two. So that's something we're excited about. So that's what we're working on right now. And then we've been working, Stephen has been working with the Sheriff's Office on the Real-Time Crime Center that is at the 911 Center in our EOC. We also we're in a partnership with the Blount County Sheriff's Office for a CRD, which is mobile technology. It's basically a portable cell phone tower for backup phone and radio and comms. And so basically, we're also, again, building out our backup EOC down here in the courthouse. So those are some of our goals. Any questions?
You got one additional request here?
I do, yes, sir. That is for the, we're partnering with the Sheriff's Office. They spent $110,000 on a portable cell phone tower, the CRD, Yep, CRD. And so what we want to do is partner with them and pay the fee to service it every year to where we can use it and anybody can, to where it can operate.
What does that actually do? Does that give you the subscription to where it'll connect? Will Skynet not give you that same stuff?
Absolutely, it's a part of it. What this does is, that takes into account what we would pay SpaceX for the Starlink communication, Verizon, FirstNet, and then also with the actual company Rescue 42 to do the yearly updates and to keep us.
So this is just not one, this is not just giving you one frequency, it's going to give you, you can actually hit multiple frequencies on this?
Yeah, frequency's probably a little old school.
Yeah, well, it's obvious where it's coming from, you know, so.
Multiple talk groups. It will be countywide. We will be able basically to bring our radio system back up. If public safety radio went down, we would be able to then step in with this piece of equipment and satisfy, at least in the particular area where the damage had done, they will have coverage.
And that's unlimited on any location wherever you set it up, whether you're up in the park or to Motley Road, you're going to be able to pull this thing up and it'll give you coverage. Okay.
So before, we had several conversations about purchasing this piece of equipment, and about 3 years ago is when we started. It was about $80,000. It went up to about $110 this year. We made it work with parts and pieces, but this is one unit. We back that truck up, it hooks in the trailer hitch, it's got a lift, it lifts up, and we drive it to wherever and set up. We're not taking an enclosed trailer now, and it takes us about 3 hours to get it set up. What we have now with this, I can have this deployed in about 15 minutes.
Okay.
And everything's in one unit, generator, all together. So we're a huge accomplishment for Blount County to be prepared. This would just be the services yearly to keep it functioning.
Yeah. Good. Does anyone else have any questions? Any questions? Well, I know, of course, I'm sort of, I guess I'm on the inside, and I know what all we've got and what we're capable of, which makes me feel really, really good about being a citizen of Blount County, knowing what we have as far as emergency management response. Problem is that unless there's an emergency, you really don't know what all's going on and what all y'all got going on behind the scenes. Unfortunately, I have had to be on a couple of those emergency scenes, whether it's wildfires or train derailments, and it sure is good to know that we're prepared when we're there, because it makes watching what happened during the hurricanes and all that, on those that were not as prepared, can really make you appreciate what being prepared looks like in your county for your citizens whenever you do have disasters like that. But thank you all very much for the hard work y'all put into it. Lance, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Stephen, thank you very much for the hard work y'all put into it. Next up, HR and payroll. Jacqueline Johnson will be presenting.
Hello, Mayor and committee. Thanks for the time to have with you guys this afternoon. As the mayor mentioned, my name is Jacqueline Johnson, and I get to serve as the HR and payroll director for the county. I serve alongside a team of all-stars, which consists of 3 HR specialists and a dedicated payroll specialist. At a really super high level, our role is to support county employees so that they can better serve the citizens of our county. We are also business partners with the leadership team to make sure that, that we can assist them with all the important people-related tasks and functions that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. On this slide, kind of outlines HR's roles across several key areas of what we do and where we invest a lot of time. I won't pain you with going through each one of them in detail, but do want to highlight a couple of the areas where we invest the most resources. And the first one is benefit administration. We do administer the county's self-funded health and dental plans. So because we pay claims directly, that means that we have more of an active management role in that. We're not just doing enrollments and communicating with employees about the benefits. We've got around 1,600 employees on both our medical and our dental plans. And so it's a really big responsibility, and we field a lot of calls every day about benefit-related questions and issues and concerns that we work with them to get resolved. Misty plays a really big part in that, and she's great. We also work closely with our broker CBiz. We work with them to monitor claims and identify cost drivers, which really allows us to make informed decisions and implement programs that help us manage cost while still providing a competitive benefit for our employees, which is a benefit that I'm super proud of. Ultimately, the goal with our managing our benefit programs is to balance quality, high-level coverage with financial responsibility. And one of the ways that we manage that is by maintaining stable premiums year over year, and we've been able to do that successfully over the last few years. Another one of our critical functions is getting people paid. Our team processes payroll, excuse me, for 700 employees biweekly, making sure that people are paid accurately and on time. We also partner with the schools, and they deal and do the day-to-day activities that go along with processing their own payroll. But we partner with them in that. We do a lot of their deduction setups and that sort of thing. But really, what I would consider the main thing we do for them is what I would consider like the post-payroll functions. Alongside Brian's team, we send the ACH files to get those direct deposits out. We do their funding, reporting, and reconciliations. Just to give you an idea of the amount of payroll that runs through our office, last year in 2025, we had $125 million worth of gross payroll, and we issued around 2,800 W-2s, which means that we're responsible for submitting those taxes and getting those tax reporting done on time and accurately. We also manage the reporting to our retirement systems and other vendors, making sure that everything stays compliant and balanced. But at the end of the day, our focus as a department is just to keep processes running smoothly, to support our departments and department heads, to stay compliant, and making sure that we're providing a good work environment for our employees. To highlight a few of the things that we've accomplished this year, we've filled critical vacancies, we've maintained a high level of payroll accuracy. We managed our benefit plans responsibly, which led to a rate hold for our 2026 medical and dental plans. We also tackled some big projects, one of which was an internal I-9 audit. Basically we made sure that we had all our forms completed as they should be and as we're required to be, and that we have all the documents on file for all of our active employees. We're really close to getting that finished out. We should be done here in the next few weeks, but that was a huge undertaking. Actually, Carmen Wilson took the lead on that, and I'm really proud to have gotten through that this year. Another one of our big projects that we took on this year was updating our leave plans. Essentially what we did is we took a couple of our outdated vacation and personal leave plans, and we've combined those into a more modern accrual-based plan for about 250 of our general county employees. It's really more of a streamlined, modern approach that's easier to manage for us, and also is a more competitive benefit and aligns better with similar entities regionally. Overall, it's been a year focused on keeping things stable, improving policies, and continuing to support both our departments and our employees. Looking ahead to next fiscal year, our goal really is on building on the processes that we've already made and continuing to improve how we operate. One of our main priorities this year is improving the efficiency of our HR and payroll processes within our HRIS system. We've been in that system for about a year and a half, and we've learned a lot and we've come a long way. But the goal is to really leverage those system capabilities more fully. Just streamlining processes, reducing manual work, and just becoming more efficient across the board. You also want to invest some time in enhancing data quality and reporting to ensure that we've got reliable, real-time insights to support countywide decision-making. And just as important as any process improvement, we also want to prioritize, providing a high level of customer service. Whether it's supporting employees or being there for department heads when they need us, our goal is to remain responsive and be helpful and to be easy to work with. In terms of my budget, I've submitted a status quo budget with no additional request. So, do you have any questions?
Any questions? Questions? Just one thing. I want to say to you and your staff how easy to work with you all are. And when I say that, I mean for our employees. I think it's very, very important that our employees, when they walk in that door to come see HR or Human Resources or whoever, that they feel like they're welcomed, they feel like that they're appreciated, and they feel like you're going to do anything and everything you have to do to help them. And there's not been a time when employees have not walked in there and came back and spent time with you, with Misty or you or Mafe or any of your people, that when they come out have not said, wow, this is great. I do appreciate for you all to be this helpful and for it to be as important to you that my problem means as much to you as it does to me. That is very important. I mean, the employees, I don't ever want them to feel like they're on an island and they're out there by themselves, and you all are a great support for that, and you do a wonderful job, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Next up, risk management.
As Amy mentioned just a few minutes ago, when we lost Dawn Stallions, the General Services Department was kind of broken up. So one of the things that have fallen under me and my departments is the risk management team. While I'm here to support Tim, he is the resident expert, so I'm going to let him do the presenting. And with that, I'll pass it over to Tim.
And I'd like to go on record, we didn't lose Don. He actually left and went to work as the city manager in Townsend. We didn't lose him. He left. Yeah, okay, all right, good. All right.
I don't think we'll ever get rid of him.
Yeah, he was lost when he was here. It was just a matter of whether he was.
Well, the good thing is he's close enough I can reach out if I have a question.
I know.
So, yeah. Just a short introduction. I am Tim Tipton. I'm the risk manager for the county. I've been here for coming up on 19 years, along with Lindsay Jackson. She's our work comp coordinator. She's been here coming up on 20 years. So we've seen quite a bit in our stint with the county. Lots of improvements. I'm going to try not to bore you all with a bunch of insurance information. But I'll slide a little bit in there here and now. But what I want to do is talk about one of the most important things I feel like we do is try to be good stewards with the county's taxpayer dollars. We obviously have claims that come in that we can't control, but once they're here, we can control the cost, and that's what our goal is to do. Just a quick little funny story. When I first started, I was negotiating with an insurance company, and the HR director that hired me at that time walked by and she said, "You're really hard or really tight with that money." I said, "Well, it's mine. I'm a taxpayer." So I've always held that at heart, that I'm going to watch over these tax dollars just like it's coming out of my wallet. So as a budget committee, I hope you guys appreciate that. So what we do, we manage the self-insured work comp plan for the county departments and the offices. Of course, our priority is to get the injured employee the treatment they need and get them back to work in a timely manner at the most cost-effective savings possible for the county. We are blessed with good employees that want to get back to work and usually don't give us any issues. We do have a return-to-work program, which we've been awarded the past couple of years by the state for recognizing us for that program. We also manage our self-insured general liability auto liability program for all county departments. This includes doing investigations of each claim against the county to determine the liability. If we're found to be at fault, we do our best to resolve it at a fair price for both parties involved. And if they end up getting an attorney, then we'll work closely with our county attorney to get that resolved as well at the cheapest cost possible. A lot of what we do, we try to be preventative and proactive on things. We've worked well with our departments, our highway department. They've helped cut a couple of trees down that were issues that could have fallen on cars, people, things like that. They've been gracious enough to allow us to use their service, which has saved the county money and possibly, save some claims that could have been coming from that. Our central office, school system now, they're great to work with anytime we have issues in the schools, playgrounds. If teachers or students are getting injured, they're always great to work with us to try to figure out a solution to prevent that from happening again. So we're very blessed to have good departments and good leadership in places that really matter for us. Our county maintenance, they do a great job, here at our county buildings. We work together a lot of times to go through issues. We might run across trip hazard, just, anything that could hurt somebody in the public as they're coming in, which obviously saves the county money, from claims and things like that, so. I think I went one too far here. Yep. All right. Another thing we take care of, well, we oversee our GL and work comp claim, and that's what we pay our claims out of. And again, we do our due diligence as far as making sure we do our investigations, make sure we are, before we send out a check to anything, we make sure that we've crossed our T's, dotted our I's, and made sure that we've done everything we can do as far as saving the money. We manage our certificate of insurance program for all the vendors that do business with the county. That's a little of that insurance stuff I'm sliding in there. The importance of that is when we're named as additional insured, that helps get us out of a lot of claims and lawsuits that could be filed against us where a vendor, a service they provided where they may have messed up or something like that. And by being named additional insured, they have to provide us counsel. And obviously, we have our county attorney as well. They'll help oversee that as well to make sure we're getting out of something that we shouldn't be held liable for. Something new we've started over the past couple of years, we oversee the AED program for all the county buildings, including the library, schools, sheriff's office, and the highway department. We've approximately got 90 AEDs across the county. We partner with Centos on this project. They do monthly checks for us on these. It's a lease program, so when the machine becomes obsolete and needs to be replaced, that doesn't cost the county anything. We just continue to pay our lease program. If we end up using any of the pads or anything like that, they replace those for us for free under this contract. They're required to be checked monthly to make sure the pads and the batteries are in date and the unit's functioning properly. And I've actually got a website I can go on and check and make sure that they are doing that and follow up on them monthly just to make sure they're doing what we're paying them to do. Over the past 19 years, I've been doing the playground inspections for the elementary schools as well. We've recently bought a new software to help with that we can actually take pictures, document what we need, and you can actually send a work order from the playground while you're out there, and we're going to be working with the school system on that. I'm going to be sharing that software. That way we can all be on the same page as far as what needs to be taken care of. The playground thing, it doesn't sound like a big deal, but there's over 200,000 kids that hit the emergency rooms every year from playground incidents, and that's something that it'll sneak up on you. One claim costs you $25,000 to $50,000 with a broke wrist or arm or something like that if you're not doing your due diligence taking care of the playground. So we try to stay on top of that as much as possible. We also work with our insurance broker to provide insurance coverage for 46 buildings, and the values of that are over $500 million. That's something I'll go into a little bit deeper here in just a second. We are the primary contact for Tennessee OSHA. They come out and do inspections every 2 years. They'll pick 2 or 3 buildings and walk through those, of which when they find things we need to repair or replace, they'll send that to me and we get on top of that and try to stay in their good graces as well. We also provide TOSHA required trainings for our maintenance and custodial staff. We try to offer that or any other needed trainings they may come up with. We try to reach out and help each department as they reach out to us. We also, we've started working with our school nurses. They are providing AED CPR training for our departments that are asking for that. We just recently had a training at the library this week for some of their employees, so we try to keep somebody, out there that knows CPR and stuff in each building is always great. To have somebody that can respond should we have an issue. Let's see. We also coordinate the fire drills and severe weather drills for our county buildings. Each department's got a captain, co-captain we've set up, and they help us coordinate the evacuation of the apartment or the departments during a fire drill or to get to our severe weather evacuation points. There is the saying out there, it's easier to get kids out of a building than adults. After doing this for 19 years, that is absolutely right. But we have improved dramatically since we've started this program. We're able to get everybody out of this building in less than 2 minutes. And I think that's outstanding for a building this size with as many people as we could have in here during the day. The old program was they called the mayor's office and said, hey, is this real? So we've at least got rid of that. Yeah. But one thing we try to do, we try to be preventative, as I talked about earlier. We provide roost talks, which is poison ivy preventative. We try to get that to our people who are out in the field, highway department, sheriff's office. Anybody can be exposed to that. One thing we've always talked about in the office is we can't help fix a problem if we don't know about it. So by building relationships across the county with not only our leaders in the departments and everything, our employees actually reach out to us, which we're very proud of that. They know we're going to try to do our best to find a solution for them. So. Our accomplishments for the year, this past year, we've processed over 200 claims in 2025 for both general liability and work comp. This begins once the claim is received in risk management. We review it and investigate it, and then we determine if we're going to accept or deny the claim. If it's work comp claim and determined to be compensable, we work with our TPA to make sure we get the treatment in a timely and a cost-effective manner. For a not at fault general liability claim, we collect damages for the county, which includes the highway department, schools, or whoever's involved. Since beginning this program in 2007, I've kept a spreadsheet to kind of show the mayor, just in case he asks me what I do. I've collected almost $1 million back of county taxpayer dollars. That'll be as much as $125 off a stop sign that may take me 6 months, but I never give up. And to a $4,000 guardrail, $25,000 police cruiser, but I think I was at $940,000 this week's where I'm at. So if I can get the mayor to sign off on $1 million and 10%, I may just go ahead and retire. I don't know. But the county has also recently, to help improve our services, we've conducted a competitive professional service process to evaluate our insurance broker services. The selection committee felt Gallagher was the top-ranked firm. The benefit of using them is they do a lot of Tennessee business, and so they understand our Tennessee self-insured program. They've got a lot of experience and tools to help, so we're looking forward to, we've actually been sending our information this past week, so we're trying to get that on the road and going. So they're going to be able to provide us cost savings up front that's going to allow us to purchase some policies I think we need to put in place. So we'll be evaluating that over the next few months. Our goals: risk management will continue to put measures in place to reduce exposure to the county and to minimize the cost of the exposures we do encounter. Again, we're going to be working with our new broker, Gallagher, and try to identify any gaps we may have in coverages. We know of a few out there, but we just want to get their opinion and make sure we can get the best prices. With their size and commitment, they're going to be able to get us some really good prices on some policies that we're really needing. So they're also going to work with us to make sure our values for our buildings are up to date, to make sure we have the proper amounts of insurance coverage on each one. Back in, I think it was 2019, 2020, it's more of a property assessor thing, but we had that large increase in housing. Obviously, the price in our buildings went up. So we did do a 10% increase on our values in 23 and tried to increase by 2% after that each year to try to stay on pace with that. But that is something we're going to get on top of pretty quick. Let's see. Oh, Gallagher does offer us a certificate of insurance tracking system, which is going to really help us since we are only a two-person department. You can imagine how many vendors we do business with in this county. Trying to keep up with the COIs is quite a task. So we're excited to see what they have to offer us, and they're actually going to let us have that program at no cost to help us get a good start with that program. Another bit of good information is 51,920, we're not asking for any budget increases, so we're good with that. But at the end of the day, I think for risk management, our goal is for everyone to make it home safely without any injury from work, because everybody's got somebody counting on them to make it home that day. So, and I appreciate your time today.
Anybody have any questions or comments for Tim? All right, thank you. Tim, thank you. Thank you all for everything that you do. Y'all ready to go right into schools? Y'all ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay.
Mayor, thanks for having us here.
Yes,
We're
sir.
happy to present this. I'm Justin Ridge, Director, Blount County Schools. What we do for Blount County, well, first of all, I want to say thank you. Until I was in this position, I didn't realize how interconnected all the other departments of the Blount County government were. I mean, sitting and listening, almost every department mentioned the schools and how they're committed to, our success as well. So I want to thank them. But what we do, we're one of the largest employers in Blount County with almost 1,700 employees. We've got roughly 10,000 students. We're one of the top 20 largest school systems in the state. We provide career opportunities, early college opportunities for students. We're really connected with the Blount Partnership to try to fill the niche of what our county needs in the workforce, and make sure that we're all aligned in helping this community become even stronger in the workforce. We support families through our transportation, health services, and our after-school programs with friends. We partner with local businesses and post-secondary institutions, again, to get these kids plugged into what they need to be successful in life and contribute here in the community in Blount County. And we are committed to doing our part to make sure that Blount County continues to grow economically and prospers. Our accomplishments, we have 5 level 5 schools in growth this year out of the 21. We had 6 schools recognized as reward schools by the state, and we have 3 that did both. So we're, as our auditor said when they did the curriculum audit, where we're at is an okay place to be, but not an okay place to say. So my goal is to have those be 21, 21, 21. So, and we're working every day toward that. As a lot of you guys saw, we had a really successful renovation at Blount High School in the Career and Technical building. We're really proud of that, and we really think that's going to help us going back to what we do, contribute more to the community and the workforce and economic growth. And my teams, we've been busy since May, fulfilling the audit recommendations of both the HR side and the curriculum side. So we made a lot of progress there. We're certainly not anywhere close to being finished, but that is, I feel pretty good. I'm really proud of our people for what they've done so far to take steps toward those recommendations. So our goals, as we established with our Board of Education, we do not have our strategic plan finished yet. We have committees working toward that, but our goals are going to be the same every year. Environment's number 1, that's safety and security of our students and our staff. Along with that, school culture, customer service. When people walk into our schools, we want them to feel welcome. We want them to know that we care about them and their students. And also, that's our buildings. A lot of things we do through Fund 177. We want to make sure we're providing not only an adequate learning environment, but one we can be proud of and that we feel that our students are the safest in and that we can be most productive. Systems, and that goes back to the HR, developing our structure. We've come a long way in that, but we have a long way to go. One of our goals as a school system under this leadership is that when we leave this, that the next person coming in, next people coming in can just continue what we've started. Obviously, for a school system, learning is what we're there for. All those other things have to be in place for that to be effective. But we have a team of dedicated leadership, working with our principals, with our teachers, and all our support staff to make sure that we have learning systems in place where every student can meet their goals. And really, at the end of the day, all that goes into we're taking 4 and 5-year-olds and we have them till they're roughly 18. We want to make sure what we do provides them the opportunity to achieve their dreams, whatever they want to be in life, and that's what we're here for. And that's all the fun stuff. Now, now I'll turn it over to the expert, and again, I want to thank her. She has worked tirelessly, relentlessly on this budget, and I'm really proud of her and the work she's done, and I couldn't be more thankful for that. And I know you guys will see that in this budget, and I want to thank you guys with the county working with us, and I think it's a great partnership, and I really appreciate everybody in every department, but it's been so far, I just can't be more thankful of all the departments and everything that you guys have done to support us. So thanks.
Good morning, I think. It's still morning, we're close. So I'll just jump right in. I know I'm the only thing standing between you all and lunch. I'll try not to ramble, but I want to make sure you guys get all the information that you need. So just a quick snapshot of what we're asking for in the upcoming fiscal year. 141, which is the main operating budget for the district, it's almost 129 million with 1.5 million use of fund balance. That is for social studies curriculum. We tweak that number a little bit. It's probably about 1.25, if that. But we also need a new phone system in the district. So that's really a perfect example of a one-time capital expenditure. So we're going to shift that over as well. So that's going to change a little bit. Federal grants, we don't really know what that's going to be. We won't know until August or September. So we plan for what we have this year and build off of that. And then 143 and 146 are self-contained funds, and there's a slight use of fund balance there, which I'll talk about a little bit later in our presentation. And 177, we've got the full revenue allocation and some expenditures, which again, I'll go into more detail as we get a little bit further into the presentation. So the goal when I came into this to put this budget together, it's first year, first budget for me and Director Ridge, but I really wanted to try to stay within, basically just live within our means with what we have available in 141. That required leveraging 141 against 177 and really taking a look at the type of expense, what is an operating expense, what is a capital expenditure, and maximizing those funding sources. And so to do that, we shifted all capital from 141 to 177, which we really started that this year, and we're just continuing that in the upcoming fiscal year. That doesn't mean that they won't do maybe some small put a piece of sidewalk down or, furniture here and there, but the major capital expenditures, they're all over in 177 now. I prepared it just like I've always done in the past, and Brian and I talked about this to make sure we kind of aligned, but we took 3 years of historical data, and I projected where I thought we were going to end this year, and I built on that. Sometimes there are outliers, one-time expenses that drive that up, and so that's when I would work with the leadership team at the school system, and they would tell me, okay, well, that was a one-time expense a few years ago. You don't have to worry about that now. But then the flip side of that is sometimes there are outliers going the other way, and social studies curriculum is a great example. If I had not sat down with the leadership team, I really would not have known to plan for that. And I appreciate all of their patience, and Brian and Tyler and Carrie, and it's been very wonderful to work with and a lot of help getting to this point. And we'll still, I've got to go back. I need to circle back up with them and have them take a look and say, okay, did I forget anything? Because it's the first time I've put this budget together, so I want to make sure that there isn't anything, and there's no such thing as a perfect budget, but I still want to make sure we've got all the high notes. Revenue growth, so about 1.3 million in additional TISA funds expected in the upcoming year. That makes up about 53% of our 141 revenue budget. So definitely the lion's share there. Probably, roughly 1.7 million additional sales tax. Sales tax has performed very well this year. We don't have the new split dollar amount between us and the other two systems. We're still waiting on that to come in. Sales tax can be a little volatile too, because it's really, discretionary spending. So you want to account for that increase, but not be too aggressive. That's another thing that I've worked with Brian on, just for a reasonableness test. This is what I'm thinking. How are you kind of looking on your side? So we're trying to work together on some of those things to make sure that we align, because really it's the same. If inflation is 2% at the courthouse, it's 2% on Grandview Drive as well. We can get regional, but we're not that granular yet. So it just makes sense for us to be on the same page with a lot of the things that we do when we're preparing an operating budget. Additional property tax, it'll be just growth, what we gained. I don't anticipate any huge increases there, but we'll definitely see some incremental growth based on development. Prioritized expenses. The big thing was maintaining the integrity of the pay scale that was implemented last year. There was a lot of work that was put into developing that pay scale. It was a heavy lift last year, and so to maintain the integrity, you really have to grow, right? Nothing stays the same. We have two different pay scales. You've got a certified pay scale, that's all your licensed teachers, and then classified. Classified employees are on the county's pay scale, so we move with the county. Ideally, we all move together. So that was the goal, to try to keep us all moving together. That's another thing, again, that I worked with Brian on to see if we were, jiving, moving at the same pace. So 2% cost of living along with the step, that ended up costing about $2 million for certified, $670,000 for classified. But that's important to be able to, that pay scale is only as good as the maintenance that you do on it. So if you don't maintain it, you're just setting yourself up to do major increases down the line to try to catch back up, which is a heavy hit. The $1.5 million for social studies, that's going to change. That'll it's about 1.25 again. We did $94,000 increase for security improvements. So we had a lot of requests for additional playground surveillance. We're going to do some improvements to the way we do background checks. So there are a few things built in there. And then a $20,000 increase for audit recommended professional development. So as Director Ridge mentioned, we're still taking the best practices that were recommended from the CMSI audit and trying to implement those into everything. So no budget increase, additional property tax penny allocations needed to fund this budget. And that's an easy sentence to read, but it was a hard thing to get to. So again, Brian, thank you for your help, because there were days that it didn't look like we were going to come out on that side, but we worked and it took taking a hard look at 177 and 141, and we made it work. So I'm pretty proud of that. 142, 143, and 146. So all self-contained funds. Grants, that's just, we'll see what happens there. We take what we get. 143, school nutrition, we're using a little bit of fund balance there. Same thing in extended day. During COVID, they received a lot of grant funding, and it really boosted their fund balance. So they have very healthy fund balance. School nutrition, that's about 37% of their operating revenue, and then extended day, that's actually 89%. So we're watching them, because anytime you start to dip into your fund balance, you need to maintain and make sure that you're keeping pace. We did increase the rates for the summer program for extended days, so that'll help there. And then school nutrition, that's one that we're probably going to have to look at a little bit closer this year, just to see if we need to take any action. The capital plan, Tyler did a great job putting the capital plan together in the budget book, and I messed it up, so but you gave them a printout, so that's great, appreciate it. So everything again shifted over to 177. We're still working on that. We met yesterday with a group with the county. They looked at some of our facilities, and so we're gonna go back and see I think some things are already included in our plan, but we may have to tweak some things. We're still working on prioritizing that. Full revenue appropriation is being requested, and then we're requesting all regular expenditures be allocated, and I'll go into that a little bit more. But the main reason for that is to ensure that operations are not impeded in the beginning of the fiscal year. So we don't have a July Board of Education meeting. So that means if we need to come to this body and ask for a budget increase, we have to wait till August, and then we go through all 3 meetings. Well, then you're in September. So that can be a little tough to navigate. Major projects, that still will continue as we have. That'll come individually. But what I'm really talking about, and this isn't new, but because we already have the debt service payment in there, we have the trustee commissions, but what would be new would be HVAC unplanned, because you're talking about 2 of the hottest months of the year, and then they're getting back in school, the buildings are getting opened back up. So if something's not working, and we've really depleted that HVAC line in 141 when we shifted everything over to 177. So we need to be able to react if that occurs. We also have architect fees. That's another thing. We know what we're going to, you have the plan, we know what we're going to do. So to be able to get moving on those things, we can't engage with a firm unless their funding's been appropriated. And the one that is not in there, because we were getting some guidance on that when we put the presentation together, that would be Chromebooks. That has to be in there July 1. We really need to order them in May. But they have to be ready to go July 1. If they can't be, then we'll have to kick them back to 141 and use fund balance. But that really has to be in there. We'll be pushing that one anyways to be able to get them in place by the time the kids get back in school. These were Brian's slides from last year, and I stole them. I didn't think he'd care. I just added FY25 to him, but he did such a great job. I thought, why could we recreate the wheel? So 141, the blue line, that's personnel, orange is operations, and then capital. Operations is pretty static. You can see personnel's climbing, which is just, you have to keep up with the market, especially when you have two school systems within the same county. And then the capital line, that kind of dips off in 25, and you'll see that continue, and that's where we shifted capital, started that last year, and we're just continuing that on into the new fiscal year. 142, it really depends on what grants are we receiving, what is an allowable expense. Sometimes they are personnel related, sometimes they're capital, so it's a little bit hard. There's no trend there, it's all over the place. This is 143 is school nutrition. It flip-flops. Operations is actually the high cost there because of food. And then you have personnel, both are pretty static. And then capital, that peak in 23 is when Eagleton was opened and they had to buy some equipment there. But they do a really good job of keeping that equipment running until they just can't repair it anymore. I brought a few pieces last month. The newest piece was 29 years old and the oldest was 49 years old. I mean, they had pulled that along until the repair person was like, don't call me, I'll call you, okay? I can't do anything else for this. So they do a great job with keeping that operational as long as possible. And then 146, their capital line is flat because they use our facilities and they don't really have capital. Operations is static. And then I believe that peak that you see in 23, they received some federal funding that was, staffing, and then you can see it kind of start to taper off as that funding has, I'm sure, disappeared. Okay, what questions do you all have for me?
Go ahead.
Thank you, Brittany, for the presentation and being so comprehensive. On the TISA funding, we don't anticipate any big changes on that from the state.
No. They gave us that estimate, so I feel pretty confident in it. They'll tweak the numbers a little bit, but that should be, there's no major changes. They tweak it a little bit every year, but no major changes.
Okay.
Yeah, if anything on that, I hope it goes up because the state has a new way of pulling data, and a lot of those projections are based on whether a student has an IEP, whether a student is economically disadvantaged, and those certain things. So I went to each department that those higher outcomes could be affected by, and I've asked them to double check all the numbers, make sure they're right. I've also, our system manager with enrollment, because a lot of that comes off of enrollment too, we just want to make sure those are right. So I'm hoping they go find some missing data that they didn't get, and it goes up a little bit more, but we're expecting it to be pretty close to right where it's at. So.
Okay, that's good to hear. I mean, you never know what the state's going to do, so.
That's, yes, true.
Glad to hear that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Ms. Hannum?
I have one, Brittany, if you don't mind. I don't need answers today because the question that I have is more tied to additional detail than I see in the slides.
Okay.
I'm sure I can get that information later as I requested. Is that a fair assumption?
Sure. Is it in the budget book, the detailed breakdown, or no?
I'm missing some pieces.
Okay.
I'm missing a few
Okay,
pieces.
sure.
Well, for one thing, I want to be able to see when you talked about teachers and certified teachers versus, all that stuff. I'm interested in seeing what's already been funded for those teachers and how many are hired. So how much money is still there for, where are we in that process?
Okay.
Those kinds of details are what I'm looking for in
Okay.
141.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else? Mike, you got anything? Nick, you any questions?
I think I'm good.
Okay. Well, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate the presentation. Appreciate, been great working with you all. It really has. And,
Appreciate you.
yeah, I know he's kind of sitting back there in the shadows there, but, school board chair, Mr. Chris Pass is there. Chris, just thank you all for everything that the school system's doing. I love seeing those recognitions where our schools are actually excelling and doing well, and it's good. It's a good time for Blount County school system. It's a good time to Blount County government. It's a good time for Blount County school systems, and just appreciate the job that Justin and Brittany that you've done, and leadership that we've seen in the school system. The kids are are in very good hands, and I feel good about that because I got 3 grandkids in this system, and I feel good about what the environment and the culture they're in, and what you all are doing for our kids and our teachers, and I appreciate everything you've done. Thank you.
Mayor.
It's really nice working together. I enjoy that about more than anything. It's just been able to work together with you all to make things better for this community.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, do you have, Ryan, you got something?
Just as we wrap up today, I just want to remind the committee, we'll be in touch for our next round of briefings. One of those briefings, our intention is to ask Director Ridge and Brittany to join one of those briefings so that we'll make sure we've got enough time to get the extra information that you'd like. But we'll set that up, and we'll be scheduling a series of briefings here over the next 4 weeks, 5 weeks or so. So thank you in advance for working with us.
All right. If y'all would just let me, I'd like to say to you all, that we've heard all of our great work that's happening throughout our county departments and for the betterment of our citizens and the services of this government that we provide. We're now tasked with the responsibility to present a proposed balanced budget to the full commission. We've heard a lot of worthy requests throughout our workshops, but we know we can't fund them all. And actually, it has not been that many. I've been very, very proud of what we've seen. As each of you take this information and begin to make your respective decisions for the next 26-27 budget, I want to encourage each of you to continue to be diligent in your considerations as we have been year after year, and I have the utmost confidence in each one of you. I'm proud of the work we've accomplished for our citizens and for our employees. I hope that we can continue the needed capital planning for our county that we need, and especially our employees' compensation plan. I say this every year, but we can't allow a budget to pass that spends more than our revenue. I want us to bring back a proposed budget that our Blount County citizens can be proud of. We still have a lot of work to do over the next few weeks, and I want to thank each of you on this budget committee, and also thank our finance team for your hard work and your dedication, your commitment to the citizens of Blount County. This is the end of another year of budget workshops, and for most of us, this will be our last one. It has been my absolute pleasure to serve alongside each of you. I thank you most of all for being careful and prudent about how we allocate the tax dollars we receive from our hardworking citizens. And I appreciate what each and every one of you have done every time you've come to these meetings for the last 16, some of you for the last 16 years, and what we've been able to come back with and do for our citizens. It's meant so much to me, and I hope it means this much to our citizens, but thank you for everything that y'all have done. That's it. Thank you.